Back to the downside here in a pretty big way to start things off on a Monday, going into what's going to be an important week coming up. The first of big tech earnings to come through. Meanwhile, more tensions between Donald Trump and Fed Chair Powell, where we're waiting for any sort of continued retaliation from China on the tariff front this morning. We'll keep an eye out for more comments coming through. There's Netflix, big move after the close on Friday. We're giving back some of that here this morning. We gave back $1,000 already. Was trying to hold that early on, that $1,000 mark. But downside here, still up to the tune of about 2%, 1.84 currently. We'll see if we can hold on to some of these gains. But overall, the market, big move to the downside here once again this morning. 1.4% for the NASDAQ. We're off the lows ever so slightly. Not a heck of a lot as far as economic data to come this week. Again, we're getting into the first of some of the bigger names on the earnings front coming up tomorrow. We'll hear from Tesla. That's going to be the first one. But a lot of people awaiting possibly more developments here as far as tariffs are concerned as we get going into the heart of earnings season. Good morning, Ms. Adara, with me here this morning.
Good morning, Brendan. Happy to be here today. And I think it's a really exciting morning as well because Tesla on watch to the downside at near that $230 level. We know that Reuters is reporting they're going to be delaying their production of their model, but they also have earnings on Tuesday. Google and Intel reporting on Thursday. All the telecommunications names are reporting this week. Boeing on Wednesday morning. So massive earnings week for sure, in addition to all these other catalysts. Which may help some of these economic concerns take a bit of a back seat here, hopefully, for the next coming days as the market focuses on earnings instead of the economic calendar and some of these comments coming from the White House. But we'll see. There's an IBIT this morning. Nice gap to the upside, along with Bitcoin trending higher as well currently. So there is some strength. Got to look a little bit hard for it, but there is some strength here this morning. MicroStrategy, worth noting, picking up another 6,500 plus Bitcoin here between April 14th and April 20th. So the buying continuing for Michael Saylor and co. There's MSTR also following suit here with the price of Bitcoin. Happy Monday, guys.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone had a fantastic Easter weekend. It's one of those, I don't know, it was we had a great weekend, but it's, you know, you hear the passing of the Pope. My neighbor passed away the other day, unfortunately, but it was like it was a weird one, like emotions. Like, I remember coming in this morning and feeling like, yeah, so happy and refreshed. The Leafs had won, and then all of a sudden, you know, the market's down again. And,
right.
You know, we were right back to, like, Brendan said the line this morning, futures down significantly. I just think about how often we've opened the show with futures down significantly, down 2%, 1%, whatever it might be. It's few and far between where we wake up and we get positive news. That being said, I mean, when the market's great because you have opportunities to trade and the volatility's here, it's earnings season, that's all good. Leafs are on schedule. As I said, we're gonna beat Ottawa. I was very impressed last night. I wish I didn't stay up so late, but I'm definitely happy with that win.
Yeah, it wasn't too late of a night. I don't.
Well, I go to bed relatively early on a normal basis. For me, it was staying up late.
And I think it ended 9:30ish or so. Still late. Yeah, today was the earliest day I woke up. The latest day I woke up all weekend because we had a big, here, let me show you, we had a big tournament there on the weekend there in your hometown, in my hometown as well, Brampton. And so here's one picture, but that's not the one I want to show. But yeah, welcome everybody to the show. I'm going to get this picture going in a second. 7, 9, 8. Here it is. So yeah, we had a tournament. We had 6 hockey games this weekend, my daughter and I, in 4 different rinks all throughout Brampton. And at the beginning of the year, they entered a similar tournament in Brampton where they went 0-3. And then this year was a big one. They wound up winning. So there it was right there, the U11 champions there in the world's largest and longest running female hockey tournament. Right there, they all got the medals in their teeth there. Of course, I wish it was pure gold with the price of gold going these days. So I say a big shout out to the Etobicoke Dolphins, U11A winners here. And then, of course, out of 6 games, she got 3 player of the games. She got 5 goals. She got both goals in the semifinal game, the game-winning goal in the final game, and couldn't be more proud. And my voice is already gone, so it should be a good show. You'll be hearing less of me, which is always good for people. But yeah, we want to say a big shout out to that. And then it all starts again today with tryouts for next year's teams.
Busy.
Oh, it does not stop. And but it was nice to see I mean, I don't know, did you get to do anything for Easter or?
So, well, we did our Easter last week with my family, as we had a good friend had his 50th birthday party, surprise party was yesterday. Because it was like, it's weird, you get older, like the only time, it's hard to organize things. And she's like, I can't do anything, his wife, until the long weekend, which was fantastic. Kids all were able to play together and got to see some of our high school, one of our high school buddies.
Yeah, okay.
And I got to see their family, which I hadn't seen in quite a bit. It's great spending time with the fam. As I said, like we were, and then on Saturday.
We have a high school buddy that's 50 years old?
No, it's his older brother.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Zane's older brother.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So no, we're
We're
not 50 yet, but his older brother turned 50. But and on Saturday we were at the Jays. There was like a sweet experience for season ticket holders, and we met Devon White, was one of my heroes.
Oh yeah.
What was really cool is I got to talk to like an all-time Blue Jay, and then find out. So his daughter's into basketball. Well, she was in the WNBA, which my daughter's playing basketball and soccer, which is exactly what he did. I was a center field, obviously. I admired Devon White. And my daughter was so nervous. But I am to meet him. Like, it was weird because I was talking him up the whole time. I showed the catch and everything, so she knew who he was.
Yeah.
And she was so nervous to meet him, and he was so incredibly kind. He's from Jamaica, so we talked about the West Indies a bit and had a really great conversation. But I am disappointed because at this event, they had a trivia game before the game for all like the fans that were there in the suite.
Right.
And so, like, Aaron was literally like, "Daddy, why didn't you win it for us?" After.
I was going to ask the same thing.
There was no statistical questions at all. It was all like some random stuff. Well, one of the questions was, what is the team the Blue Jays have played the least in their history? Like, how am I supposed to get that? Like, nobody got that question.
Miami Marlins or?
I mean, it's obviously National League. It was San Diego, but I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? So there's some random stuff in there that I don't care how big a fan you are, you're not going to get that.
No, you have to ask like ChatGPT that or something like that.
Which, I don't know, one of the other teams that won, I'm pretty sure they were using the phone. But.
And what was it, yesterday's? They lost yesterday, or was it they win that
This
game?
was on Saturday.
Did they win that?
That was the extra inning game.
Oh, yeah. I hate when baseball games go 12 innings, because it's like by the time the 9th inning is there, you kind of want to leave anyways. And then it goes into extras. But you know what? I like the extra innings that you start a guy on second.
I like that rule.
Yeah.
You'll never see a 20 inning or 18 inning game.
Yeah, that makes it good. Yeah, we had some friends at that game as well. Thank you so much, Arsis FX, right here for 5 gifted memberships. We go bang.
Let's go.
On that one. Thank you to start it off right. And Dewey, Adrian, BDK, Dr. Fark Melton, and Glass Half Full all have Arsis FX to thank. So thank you so much for that. It's $5 each membership, so that's a 25 banger right there. Thank you so much for that. We'll take it over and over again. So, and then I left one of the games because my son wanted to stay home. And on Friday, we went to Burger's Priest. So we went to one of my favorite burger places as well. So it was really a exciting, fun day. And my parents and brother came to the last 3 games, and they won all 3 games in dire mode. But yeah, the Maple Leafs, finally, 6-2. I've already bet that series, so
they look so
I like betting the series because then my money is tied up, so then I don't have to
then you're not just
make any decisions on anything. And I saw the Lakers loss, which was nice.
Let's go.
I like the Lakers, but I don't want them to win because I just think that Luka trade was so ridiculous. Like, it's just like they gave up
the karma?
a bag of bones for Luka Doncic.
Well, look, man, I boringly want OKC to win for obvious reasons.
Yeah, me too.
I just like to see SGA win.
Yeah, exactly. Canada on that one. Or the Pacers have a couple Canadians and Siakam.
Yeah, Mather
is nice from the Raptors. Brendan has absolutely he might know who Pascal Siakam is.
Yeah, he'll know Siakam.
You think so?
He won a championship with the Raptors, so I'd say yes.
Bold statement. All right, let's go over to the desk. We will. It's a dare. We actually have Obi on the midday show, so that's going to be good. Obi and Joel kicking it on the midday show. We're really excited to that, and we're excited to have Adara join Brendan on the big desk.
There's a little one flying around here this morning, guys. Just made a new day high, 8%. Coming back in a little bit here, UPXI. I was just trying to find, the market cap's 3 million, so this thing's pretty tiny. Short float about 3%, but it's coming back in a pretty good hurry here. But 240% here for UPXI. $100 million private placement coming through for that one, so keep an eye on that. You mentioned Tesla to start things off here this morning. A ton to know, not only in regards to earnings obviously coming up this week, but I was reading this story on the weekend about the odometer scandal. Is it officially a scandal at this point? Odometer gate. Apparently they're rolling back odometers to avoid having to pay out warranty maintenance bills and repair work that have come close to, if a car comes in that's close to the mileage, they roll back the odometer to avoid actually having to pay out that work for them. But I mean, just another thing to add on top of many things that have been negative for Tesla so far this year.
I guess Tesla cannot solve that with an over-the-air update, which we know is usually how they deal with some of these concerns with recalls. Tesla, as well, as I mentioned earlier, does have this story reported by Reuters saying that they're delaying the launch of their more affordable Model Y SUV. Initially, it was planned for early 2025. There have been a lot of reports suggesting that this...
Ramin's going to jump in and fix your mic there for a second, but we'll touch on that coming up. Again, earnings this week, guys, for Tesla, so we'll keep that in mind as well. The robo-taxi angle is still really interesting from the standpoint that just going back a week or so, we were sitting here talking about June still being the target for Austin specifically, and the Waymo angle. Sharif and I were discussing the increase that Waymo has seen in Austin as a market specifically in ridership and user base just in general ahead of this launch for Tesla coming up in June. So lots to consider here ahead of the earnings, guys. But yeah, ouch, 4% here this morning for Tesla.
Right, we're heading right back to the lows on Tesla. It just seems like we'll see. Look, obviously earnings are going to matter this week. Sentiment is not going to help. Delay the SUV. The SUV can't be good. That odometer thing, weird story. Yeah, I gotta. That's what I gotta read for myself. But I think there just haven't been many positive catalyst right now. So Tesla's hunting for a positive catalyst. Whether or not you'll get anything out of earnings after the bell tomorrow, which, by the way, you're going to get tomorrow after the bell is big. With Tesla, you'll have Brian Shannon on there. It's going to be fantastic. It's always a great show, but some of the names that we get this week are a little bit more important when it comes to those earnings. But yeah, they need some kind of positive catalyst. At this point, I don't know in the short term what it can be. So it just seems like more of the same, where I think you're filling the gap all the way in back into that 220. We're saying this last week. It was a weird barcode kind of day on Friday, where you had the same bottom in here, the actual bottom 237.5-ish, but like it was just sitting there, 238 to 242, and then back and forth several times. I don't know if we'll get that kind of action today, but if you even try and fill in the gap to the prior lows, that's the short for me. Like I'm shorting pops into that prior low. If there's that much liquidity that just sat there in a barcode, you got to figure on weakness. It should be trouble punching through that. But I can't think of what the positive catalyst is going to be tomorrow. Unfortunately for Tesla, it just feels like we're headed back to retest. I mean, the low's not even 220. It's actually 217, 18.
Yeah, I think we would definitely get to that tomorrow. I mean, I can't see them guide anything positively there. I mean, with the delay of its, we have affordable Model Y SUV, so I'm not sure exactly if it's going to be all models. But at the end of the day, Model Y delays is not good, man. That story that Brendan mentioned there, I don't even, rolling back the odometers, like, I mean, that just doesn't, I don't know. I wonder about, to me, that seems a little bit silly. But I mean, if it's happening, then that's even crazier. But this is the 50-period moving average. Look, it wasn't really good until we finally broke it and stayed above it. It didn't really get too bad there until we made that leg down after breaking it, right? We kind of danced around it. Then we made this way up, down. I don't think it goes back up until at least we break, like this is 290 right there. The 50-period moving average is 277 on Tesla. And you are like, easily momentum, trend, everything is down. And then you get today's story and stories and then tomorrow's earnings. And the next thing you know, you're probably down into this. Like, look, if it's a great it's a great report, and they're selling more cars than we think, and maybe the robo-taxi is more online than we think, and ready to go, and there's something here. I'm not sure, because like Grok is not a Tesla story. Like there's some things happening there, Starlink and all these things, but they're not Tesla stories. So as you come back into this area, I think tomorrow is going to be a big testing spot for the stock. The expected moves are always like 7, 8, 9%. And I mean, even if we close right where we are right now and the earnings are not the greatest, you probably are down near this 200 marker just because that's the way the options and the way the stock's going to go, right? I mean, earnings are going to move stocks. And I just, right here, hard to get behind Tesla, hard to buy this name before earnings. And yeah, I don't know. Like I keep saying the same thing. Like everybody I talk to, right or wrong, like they love the cars, but they don't like sort of what's happening in the background here. And I don't know, you know, sometimes these macro stories we saw with Disney, go woke, go broke, this kind of stuff really affected the stock. It affected Starbucks for a while. It affects a lot in these names. And I think like right now, Tesla has not only apparently these headwinds now with their vehicles and manufacturing and China and tariffs and insert whatever here for any tech name, you now have earnings in 2 days. So I think it's a get out. Like I'm still in, but I think if you've been buying recently, like I feel a lot more nervous about this name heading into earnings than many of the Mag 7 names, just because there's just so much uncertainty as far as the tariffs and are people going to be buying these cars? They just had a week, it was minus 15% in California, the registrations, right? So not huge, not great news here for Tesla at all, Randy.
No.
Now they're delaying the Model Y and stuff like that, we heard. And Rivian's still 11:45, so that's not really doing too much now right there. But yeah, Tesla with earnings tomorrow, Randy. I think it's going to be not the greatest.
Well, that says it all.
There for that. So we'll go back. We have Michael Noss ready, and then
right. Nice.
you know we can get some your take there maybe even on the midday. We don't have Sharif here today or anything, so if you want to slip in.
Little
and
Tesla earnings preview?
Maybe.
He's thinking about it.
See, now he's got to go do work, Neil. Nice
Oh,
one.
no, my bad.
Nice one. Yeah, almost all stocks are down today. I think that's probably right, except for gold, of course, which is up once more time. And I saw Netflix was still trying to hold on.
Yeah, it's up a couple
Let me just check, before I go over to Michael, let me just check what Netflix is up now, because we just come... Okay, so it's just under 100, just under $1,000 right now, still up that 2%. Remember, it was Thursday, they had earnings Thursday, and it was a nice report. Kept ripping to the upside. Adair and I were covering this. It was looking great. When we had Steve Tileman on, it was 1020 was the high. It looks like that pretty much was the high there, minus any blue ocean trading or anything like that. And right now you get under 1,000. But still, a name that looks pretty strong right here, Netflix, trying to hold right now. Congratulations to, I think it's 17 times WWE champion John Cena winds up winning yesterday off of, I only watched the end of it. It was a pretty ridiculous ending. Like
I have no idea.
Nah, nothing, just... I don't want to ruin it, but, you know, Travis Scott was there. And it was just like Travis Scott is 130 pounds soaking wet, you know, for like, anyways. No, nothing. No, it's fine. It's
but now I want to see it because of the.
Oh, no. It's really, I don't want to ruin it for everybody. I mean, some people might be watching it today. I don't know. WrestleMania might have been, it was Sunday night. So, as you were saying, some people go to bed earlier, and I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about wrestling maybe later. All right, over to the desk now with Brendo and our guest.
It is Monday morning. That means Michael Noss is here for a look at what he was doing all weekend long. As per usual, he was deep in the weeds here, it looks like, Mr. Noss. Trying to find something that is pointing in the right direction at this point. When all else fails, I guess we have to buy defense stocks.
I guess so, right? We have to continue to look. This market continues to be insane. And yeah, I got 3 days this week to look at stocks. So I think I found a random defense stock that no one's probably ever heard of. So I think that'll be fantastic. But that end, Sean made a comment when I was in there about nothing's up today. MicroStrategy. So maybe that's something we'll talk about in the after show. Bitcoin and the Qs seem to be decoupling a bit, which is really rare. It didn't help us in the last bear market or the bear market before there, but I don't know. Maybe crypto is going to be the place, so we'll see. But today I'm going to talk about defense stocks, and we'll just start with the first chart that I have, the SP 500. I think everyone knows what this chart looks like, just because It's the S&P 500, and that's the main thing to keep an eye on right now. But what I want to do, you can kind of see that I did all this from my iPad this weekend, so excuse my chicken scratch, but we're looking at the March low. And I think the March low is just very important because you have to pick a point to anchor from. And during the crash and during the bounce, pretty much everything became correlated. So most stocks, if you just look after March, look the same, right? A big crash and a big bounce. The March low is very interesting. So I'm looking at, when I go through all the sectors, I'm just paying attention to that March low. And if we're above it, I'm just considering it relatively strong because it means that the Liberation Day crash, we got to think of a cooler name than that, didn't affect it as much because now we're back above that price, right? Because you remember those two big down candles in the SP 500, that was after that, the Liberation Day announcement. So if we are above that March low and we are above those prices, then it's got to be relatively strong. And I even found a news-related event for why the, looking at why defense is actually doing strong. So look, last week I'm talking about macroeconomics, today I'm talking about news, but I guess the Trump administration is going to spend 20% more on defense than any administration ever has before it. So it's good if you're in the right stocks, right? So this is the March low, again, from ITA, which is aerospace and defense. So this will have some Boeing in it. It will have some different defensive names. And you can see we are not only well above that low, we're actually not down nearly as much from the highs as we are on the S&P 500. So, you know, when I say defense, I just think I should probably clarify because some people might think I'm talking about Coca-Cola and defensive stocks, but I'm talking about bombs and airplanes and tanks and that kind of thing. So up actually pretty well above that March low. You can see a big level of support around the 145 area on this ETF. We are well above that as well. So I found a stock that I think is kind of interesting. Again, just going through this ETF, I just need to remind people all the time that if you own an ETF, you have to, by law, list what's in that ETF. So if you're ever looking at an ETF and you're like, oh, that ETF looks really great, but I want to get some single stock exposure, you just go to their website. You just Google ITA Holdings and iShares, for example, will just have a list for you of everything they go within them. And then I go through those lists and just see which I like the most. So we're going to start on a weekly chart of KTOS, which is not going to pronounce, but a defense and security solutions company. So this is a weekly chart, and it's a very long-term chart. We're going back like 5 years at this point. And this 35-ish level is hugely important. And just for scale on the chart, in case you can't see the numbers, that's from 45 down to 2 and then worked its way back to 45. So just an insanely, there's a lot of juice in this stock. So if you're right, you could be really right. But again, if you're wrong, you could be really wrong. So make sure you protect yourself. But this area is a massive big deal. And we have this big rounded bottom. And I drew the smiley face just, again, because I was on my iPad with the little pencil thing. I've been trained to buy smiley faces, sell frowny faces. This one actually looks really good if we can hold above this price as well here. So the next chart, I've just marched I've done the March low, which this is the daily chart. You can see we're well above the March low. We are actually close to not all-time highs, which we saw from that other chart, but 52-week highs. So $35, give or take, is an interesting price from this. And also you can see pulled down a little bit off Liberation Day, but not very much. So this one at least seems to be kind of decoupled from the whole tariff thing, which is obviously something to look for right now, and a pretty strong looking name. Last chart I'm just looking at is a 30-minute chart. This is kind of like the execution time frame, and we're just getting really, really tight here with the rest of the market. I took this screenshot this morning just to show you it was kind of gapping down with the market. So of course we're going to need the market not to go into free fall this morning in order to be interested to buy this, but I'm going to look at this one around $34 a share. Stop loss, worst case scenario is under 30, but you could just play this kind of symmetrical triangle as well. And again, it's just one of those, while the market's doing what the market's doing, which is pretty crazy, I am just out there hunting for what is relatively strong, what is holding up in this market, what I could potentially add to my portfolio for one day. There's going to be some tweet of, okay, we found the deal, all the tariffs are gone, I'm still in that camp, and everything's going to be up 15-20% from there. So I want to make sure I have some exposure in my portfolio for when that happens, and that's why I'm looking for these names that are holding up really well.
You mentioned one key data point there that I think is becoming more and more important and mentioned over and over and over again. I was reading about a couple of different names on the weekend that fall into this category as well, and those are stocks that may not necessarily be as affected by tariffs. This one obviously in that group and showing on the chart relative strength as to why that is. But that might be something really interesting to look at, just putting, a basket of here are the top 10 least affected names by tariffs, and then looking at that going forward. I mean, we're always looking for some sort of reason as to why. More and more people seem to be talking about that, though.
I have been making jokes that it would be the worst time to be like a Goldman Sachs intern, because they have them locked in a basement somewhere and they're saying go through every balance sheet of every stock in the market and tell me where they get all their stuff from. And then just as they're about to come out of their basement, the tariffs change and they shove them back down. They say, okay, now do it again. So I think it's something that's really, really hard. And I think that's one of the beauty of price action is it will tell us that. But then also you just got to look at different companies and what they're going to sell. So for example, software, right, is another place that I want to take a look at. So we see Netflix is actually doing pretty well. I hope.
But also another one, right? Also another one that's not necessarily going to be that affected by tariffs.
Right. And unless there's some sort of announcement with, again, anything can happen in this market, but unless there's some sort of announcement on software sales, that might be an interesting one to go. So, CrowdStrike and Salesforce.com and all these names. So it's definitely a very interesting thought experiment if you, want to sit back and walk around your backyard and think. But yeah, what can't they tariff? It may also be the reason, not to be one of those crazy Bitcoin guys, that Bitcoin is doing so well because you can't tariff moving this money back and forth via cryptocurrency. So
great stuff. Michael Noss back with us after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
Talk to you then.
Thank you very much, Sir Michael. And speaking of defense names that are trying to hold up, obviously that ETF has done relatively well. Not all defense names have charts that look very good. You'll remember Lockheed Martin under pressure when Boeing is taking away a contract from them. But they've triple bounced off 420 because obviously, why wouldn't you bounce off the $420 level? Triple bounce, now holding the 50-period moving average. Just, if it can hold a higher low here, I like the pattern. You're finally breaking this downtrend in Lockheed. We're like, it's probably not going to drop forever. It's the kind of company that, you're going to have bad news here and there, but they're not going anywhere. So this is it's a nice support. Maybe you retest to 420, but first things first. Probably headed for a retest of 450, but it looks like a so far good consolidation off this 450. If it holds that this week, I think it's maybe go time here on Lockheed Martin. I'm kind of waiting for this to slow down a little bit to said downside. Maybe that Boeing news where they lost a contract, that could be the last thing that hits them. Defense spending only goes up in the long term. That's just pretty much always been true. So I do agree they're good places to hide out, at least for lack of a better word there.
Yeah, no, I was going to say for defense, I like Palantir. For defense of your portfolio, though, it would have been nice to have gold about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Gold just all-time highs, right? I mean, again, $3,400, another 3% up today. So like when I said to, right before we threw to Michael, like nothing was up. Yeah, crypto and gold right now. Two names that are definitely to the high side along with that Netflix move. So there goes gold, still going higher and higher and higher. I mean, down here, 306, 307, 308, like you're not going to get a move down there. So I think you just watch it. And then if you are really interested in it, you just kind of play off VWAP, which right now is 340. So 313.40. So I would just kind of wait for that little bit of a dip action there. But you could see gold as we continue to sort of chop around in the pre-market here on the main NASDAQ, on the main indexes here. Gold continues to go higher. And then, we were looking at, I saw gas actually I almost pulled over there in Brampton yesterday, 117. I was like, what the hell? And then I noticed this morning back up to 130. Oil, same sort of a move down. And again, if we can't solve everything with China, then I'm not going to solve everything. But if this, keeps on going the way it is, today FXI seems to be up a little bit, but we can't, really love oil until we understand that, we're not going to go through this global slowdown and China's still going to continue to produce goods, especially for the world's largest market in the U.S. And we can't, that can't really slow down because if it does, then you're going to see, USO continue in my opinion anyways, to make lows. Now, we did have a nice little bounce back there, so we'll wait to find out exactly if there's going to be any resolution to this Russia-Ukraine conflict as well. And then President Trump has, talked about making Gaza the new Las Vegas and things like this. So, like, I'm a little nervous, not only just about oil, but about the world in general at this point. But anyways, it's been a nice move back up for oil, so it's surprising to see us down here 2% today. So we'll wait. Doesn't seem like anything's safe. NASDAQ just bouncing around, maybe down 1.3%. As Neil mentioned earlier, it's like it sucks to always come in and see the market down, but at the end of the day, we've battled back, and there is some positive momentum hopefully going to develop with some kind of stories. I don't see any right now. Oh, WWE just acquired a Lucha Libre promotion. So TKO, Rey Mysterio will be ahead of that. No, I have no idea.
Why not?
Yeah, we are in Canada, so we have different tariff issues here. Of course, like we're not applying all those tariffs to all the countries similar to the United States, but our biggest trading partner, of course, has been having throwing some bows at us. And our election is I thought it was the 28th. Oh, today's Tuesday.
It's literally a week.
Yeah, I thought our election was on Tuesday, but it's the 28th, so it's a week.
Yeah, we're in 1 week. We go to the polls.
It's a week today. It looks like 75% Liberal Party right now is favored in the polls. We all know how the polls work, but so Liberal government kind of keeps things.
I believe this one, but
yeah, Mark Carney's the guy in there now. So he may be the guy in there for the next 4 years as well, and apparently has good relationships and decent talks with Trump. And Trump has said that he prefers to work with the Liberals rather than the Conservatives, which he made that comment a couple weeks ago. I don't know if that's changed. So hopefully here in Canada we can have some more stability coming our way. And then our Bank of Canada did not guide or anything for the first time in a while. Didn't give too many outlooks there for the future, and they held their last interest rate, which is similar to, we'll see what the United States is doing in May. What was it, May 18th or something? Darren knows the exact dates.
They want cuts here too, though.
Yeah, everybody wants cuts. Oh, yeah, that's right. On Thursday, we had all the talk about Jerome Powell. So we'll see if his job is any more stable today than potentially it was there on Thursday.
Well, on Friday, there was more of it. So
right.
There was more discussion.
It wasn't a good Friday for Jerome Powell. But
that talk's not going anywhere.
We'll see.
It'll stick around.
Yeah, anyways, more Jerome Powell talk as we go today. And there's a couple Fed speak with earnings this week. It should be a good one. It's 9:02. Look, our watch list is packed. Make sure you go grab a watch list. QR code will be coming up soon. Go get the link in description. And I'm sure Brendan will tell us all about it anyways.
Easy, guys. If you haven't done so yet, jump down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page. All you need, as Sean mentioned, is your email address. Then it comes right to your inbox every single morning. With everything you need to know on it before the market opens. Under 30 minutes to go here. Miss Adara to the left of me takes care of that for us every single morning. I found another one. So it's Netflix, it's MicroStrategy, and it's NIO. That's about the extent of the positivity at this point. We'll start things off, though, with Netflix this morning. As I mentioned, we've given a lot of this back already. It tried early on this morning to hold on to that $1,000 mark. We gave it up. Back below that 2% mark, 1.8 here, though. There's a ton of positive analyst moves, a ton of price target increases. Not much negative to say here for Netflix.
There really isn't. So revenue rose by 13% year over year. They also had year over year increases for revenue in all 4 of their regions. So good look there as well. Earnings per share, $6.61 above estimates of $5.71. Revenue, $10.54 billion above estimates of $10.52 billion. Now, they did have higher than expected guidance for Q2 2025, but they did not alter their guidance for fiscal 2025. They're still guiding revenue between $43.5 billion and $44.5 billion.
Some people might give up their lattes in the morning, but clearly not giving up their Netflix, guys. Nice report here for them.
Oh, yeah. We talked about this last week going into it that, for a lot of people, this would be, they're not cutting this one. You might cut some others, but we're just talking about streaming services. They've clearly won. They're making money, which is a big deal. It's just, in this environment, beat top and bottom line, everything looks good, love what they're getting from the ad tier, and you get 2 points out of it. That's just how we're living. That's how we're living nowadays. When NASDAQ's down 1.5 and the ES is down a point, Netflix in a different this in a different market, Netflix would be up 6-7%, maybe even approaching double digits. And we'd be talking about it, testing its 52-week high today, instead of the alternative, which is, can we get back above $1,000 on Netflix? That's essentially what we're looking at. So 1,000 was the resistance before, so we're kind of teetering underneath it here. I think it would be a great sign if in this environment it can close above 1,000. That would be huge, but I'm a little bit skeptical of that. I doubt I trade it because I like some other stuff short today. Tesla, Nvidia, going to be tops of the list, and then IBIT and Hertz. Those are the four that I'm looking at. Ooh, we got Hertz on the list at the bottom there. We'll go over that one with Bill Ackman. No, but I think this is it's a nice confident hold. Like, this is one name where, unlike Tesla, I'm not guessing at where's the next level it's going to get to, and if it got there, would I feel comfortable with it in the next quarter? Netflix, the answer is a resounding yes for me. Like, I don't have any qualms about how much I hold or whether or not I'd be buying this one. Let me just zoom out. This doesn't have the 200 period for some reason. Whether I'd be buying this one at the 200 period, yes. Yes, I would be. I don't think we're headed there anytime in the short run, but that's an auto buy if we get to the 200.
I feel like Netflix, like obviously I was watching WrestleMania on Saturday and Sunday, which is on Netflix, a lot of ads. They probably broke some records there. I'm just really disappointed with the quarter for reasons of no major announcements. I think we were waiting for the stock split. We were waiting for them to get content deals. Both of those things didn't happen. And I just think Netflix doesn't have the catalog anymore right now. I'm always looking for new things to watch. I don't know. Like, we just watched The Resident, was pretty good. But at the end of the day, I agree. I don't think people are going to be cutting this cord, but I would not be buying Netflix up here. I don't like the way it's acting today, obviously. When you have double beat and good moves, should be up a lot higher than this. I think Netflix is a pretty good fade. I think it breaks at least a 50-period moving average. I don't add to this name for sure. But if you can come back into these levels, then be all good. I don't love the market here. And I would love to have had this name hold some of those highs. Obviously, with the spread, over $1 right now, it'll tighten up once the market opens up here. But again, I like the name. I don't want to talk negatively about it. It's just, I think the reason why we had a 10% move implied in this name with options is because we were expecting more, and they didn't deliver more. So for me, again, like the stock, hold some of it, but don't love it right there. I would have loved to see better action off of a report like that, that's for sure.
Tesla here, Model Y issues once again, the new, more affordable one being delayed, as Elon initially said, at some point in 2025. Now production's not even going to start until later on in the year, maybe even next. 4.4 here, we're literally at session lows as we speak. 230 coming into play right now.
Tesla does have a couple stories. As mentioned earlier here, we have an odometer play as well. But let's talk really quickly about this Model Y situation. Reuters reporting here, citing 3 sources, saying that Tesla's new Model Y, the more affordable version, which was supposed to launch early this year, is going to be delayed. It's been internally codenamed E41. And it's going to be at least a few months later for the start of production than what we were expecting. The odometer story here, we actually have a lawsuit here, a plaintiff saying that Tesla actually rigged its odometer so it sped up how long it took. So, for example, if the plaintiff drove 20 miles or 20 kilometers, it would show that he drove 76. So it was showing that there were more miles being driven than actually were being driven. This is basically a system to get the mileage thrown out faster so that certain issues would not qualify for warranties even when they technically should have. So that's, again, just allegations right now, but the odometer situation and Model Y, neither looking great here for Tesla, trying to hold on to 230.
Yeah, and it's not, it was one initial, but it's a class action suit. So there's many that this has apparently happened to, but just absolutely crazy if that's the case. I mean, it has to be some sort of software related issue, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, here we go, guys. Breaking downside right now.
Yeah, that number sounds, it's like you're saying, like if there's that many vehicles that are having it, like you'd think it would be very, very widely reported, and I don't know. Anyways, it's probably worth listening to see. Obviously, look, the Model Y delay, that's not going to be good for Tesla. We've kind of already been through this. I think this stock is headed down to test 180 on the daily here. Like, you got to go all the way back to the middle of last year when we had barcode at the 180 level. So I think that's where we're headed. You're not getting there today, so we don't have to, knock on wood. We're not getting there today. I look at what happened with the barcoding in the afternoon on Friday. It was just a weird. You go into a long weekend, so maybe you expect a little bit of sideways action, but there was very defined support with the bottom right at 237.5, and then kind of into this 239. You saw barcode. So on any pops, the first look was, sometimes you sit down, you're like, we're at 33, maybe we're going to get into 237.5. That's where I wanted to play the fade into. The market decides that we're going to be at the low and breaking 4.5%. Whenever that happens, I always look to the first place is the pre-market resistance up here, like 233.5. But I'm only looking shorts on Tesla. I think until we get to at least 220 today, we'll be looking at favoring the short.
I liked what Pillsbury said there in the chat. I mean, this problem is very, very easily solved. If anybody watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, all you do is you put the car and then reverse the wheels the other way, and then the odometer will go the other way. Like, I don't know why these Tesla guys can't think about that. Like, that's probably
Love
the
that
solutions. Yeah, I think that story is probably fugazi, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because what's happening here. I mean, again, software with Teslas, I could see that it could have gone haywire in a couple cars. So not that this story didn't happen, but I don't know if that's like a long term. This is still, my chart is Netflix, but my level 2 is Tesla. Look, the market's doing this, and Tesla's kind of helping that move out, right? When we talked about this just a couple minutes ago, it had a 3 handle, now it has a 4 handle on the percentage down. So you are starting to go lower here. I want to buy that, I still want to buy the stock. And I think that just because their cheaper Model Y is, been delayed, I thought that their actual Model Y, the Juniper model, was sold out. So if they're going to produce the more expensive one, there should be higher margins on that. And again, I don't know, but people in the know would know about where the margins are on all of these cars. So, they're the only car company. I mean, sans a BYD that, needs to sell more cars here in the United States, and that deal needs to get done, of course, with the Chinese company. They're still making money on EV cars. And, no matter what you think about Elon and company, they've really changed the whole dynamic, obviously, of the automotive industry, with the Model Y being the #1 selling car last year. I don't think that will happen this year with the Camry or the Corolla right behind it. But at the end of the day, this is a level that's going to need to hold, that's not going to hold. And no matter what the earnings are, I still feel like Tesla goes to the downside. I can't see them with a great guide, and I just think it's a little silly to invest in a name ahead of earnings, especially when this is one that is so up in the air. So I think it's been beat up a lot. I don't need to say that because the chart will tell you it. But you are coming into some good areas where we've had some pretty negative storylines hit, and it still has held in and around here 200 teens. I'm not to say a price. 207 has that wick bottom. 216 is there as well. I think you stay away from it for the first couple of days and then buy it a couple of days after earnings. So the market will be back at some point, and so will Tesla. It's just a matter of getting through the quarter, and I think it will do that, and I think it'll be okay. Sometimes when you think the worst of something, it's actually not that bad. So we'll have to wait to see if Tesla can hold true to something like that, because down 4% today, down, that's 275 6 days ago. So you're down quite a bit there in the last couple of weeks of trading. So I would say, we'd like to break this trend. And I had already said this earlier. I don't really want to do anything until this 50-period moving average gets at least talked about. And we didn't get there. We didn't even come close to getting there on some bump ups. I mean, maybe $20 close. But, I'd like to get above that, hold above there for 2 or 3 days. Then that could signify a long, because then we at least have a bottom where we can get out. So for me, for Tesla, I like the stock. I think the story's fine. It's just there's too much negativity in the short term to trade this a day or two ahead of earnings to the long side. So I written down here, it's on. Oh, no, it's actually not on here. And I was debating putting down here 235, where the 200-period moving average is. But then I thought, we've seen Tesla pop huge off the open as well. So we'll wait to see where this lands today. But a couple days ahead of earnings seems risky to me to even look at this stock as far as a swing trade. But a day trade, 2 million shares, probably needs to be looked at. And balance is coming out in 10 minutes.
Roblox here. This is not an actual number. It's just a forecast number, but Q1 bookings on track up 33% year over year. That's according to website Yipit for RBLX. Didn't do anything on that, but sometimes those numbers do. move. Roblox, there's gold. Speaking of all-time highs, just made a new one. 3% now for gold as this march higher continues. Yeah, it's worth noting the dollar also just as quickly moving to the downside here.
I've seen a lot of different comments here as to what could be moving gold to the upside. A lot of people are saying it's a safe haven with the dollar dropping and gold accelerating. Some people are attributing this dual move to the fact that Fed Chair Jerome Powell's position is a little bit uncertain. We know Donald Trump said that his termination quote could not come fast enough. So some people are a little bit worried about more ongoing uncertainty. It's also worth noting that gold is already up 29% since the start of 2025. It's up 8% since the tariff announcement on Liberation Day. So there seems to be some correlation here as we get this uncertainty. People looking for a safe haven in gold.
Yep, here it is. There's DXY for you to start things off on a Monday, just plummeting right now. It's a daily chart. So this is just a crazy move. 109, that's 110 at the highs. We're all the way down to 98 here, guys, on the DXY.
Yeah, an environment where the equity markets are weak and the U.S. dollar is weak. I mean, come on, gold's going to do well in that environment. The catch-up game, GDX, after the break last week, was able to make another run at its high. So remember, gold's been making those fresh all-time highs. The GLD, it's just, GLD's been impressive. It's a gap up, small consolidation, another gap up. But what was interesting was GDX had that pullback both days to end the week. So when it made its break of the high, it pulled back for a couple of sessions right back into this prior, and now it's just consolidating. So I feel like you have a good support level. If gold pulls back, GDX is showing you 51s out there, and if gold continues, you've got this nice little ramp spot. So it's just always interesting to see, like GDX pulls back because it made that fresh high. The miners aren't the same thing as obviously spot gold, but yeah, it's on the tear, and it shows you a really good level at that 51 on GDX if gold were to pull back in at any point. You just like to see those established levels unfold. If anything, I mean, I'm not trading GLD. If it were to drop, I like the level on GDX, but kind of feeling market's going to be weak and gold will have a good day therefore.
Yeah, look, a weak dollar should be good for some of these tech companies as they look to repatriate the U.S. dollar back inside. But the problem is that right now you're not allowed to do business outside of the United States. So, but if Trump is going to collect billions and billions of dollars in tariffs and so on and so forth and blah, 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 then maybe the U.S. dollar does come back a little bit.
So how's the trade?
I don't know. Maybe Trump and the administration is just making business a lot easier. This is UUP, which is a bullish U.S. dollar ETF. And yeah, it's not great right now. So it's a good and a bad thing here, as you used to look at the strong dollar ripping up, and that used to hurt some of the tech names as the dollar goes less when it gets stronger, further when it's weaker, right? And so when you're trying to bring money back into the United States, it's nice, and it should be good for companies like Google and the rest of them, but there's just so many other issues right now that are overhanging many of these huge tech names. I mean, especially like a name like Apple, that has much business in the United States, but also overseas. And a weak dollar for them should be okay when helping to pay for and bring back some cash into the United States. But at the end of the day, wow, I didn't even realize Apple was down 2.5%. Some of these names just keep on. I don't know. AEM, Agnico is a good name. I'm looking at that as a gold miner, pretty strong. I mean, look at what. It's not just the price of gold that's going up. A lot of these miners, and you could pick or choose miners, but Agnico has been an absolute monster. You grab the dividend as well. If you just wanted to get some action on a miner, AEM, also dual listed here in Toronto as well. Just an absolute beast of a stock. I mean, this goes back to last year at this time. It was $61. It's $130 today. So, I mean, there's so many names. And if you just wanted to say, I'm not picking anything, I'm just picking an ETF, well, then it would be GDX, which is the gold miner ETF. And you're going to look at this as well and be like, would you take a look at that? Nice upside move there. And if you go back to last April on this name, remember, Agnico was a double from there. So this is $34. This is up to $52. So again, if you're, it's not a hideout. I mean, there's a lot of people that invest in gold and keep it as part of their portfolio. And if you're able to do that, I talked about this when I bought it, but you want to talk about like an insignificant amount. I was able to get something in at least when we broke this level right here around 254, 255. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's dwarfed by all my other positions. So gold, at least I'm in a little bit of it. Would love to be in a lot more because I love gold right now. And so does Brendan, potentially.
Does he?
I don't know.
This portion of the show brought to you by our friends over at Forex VIM, an AI-powered trading bot that scans markets 24/7, executes trades automatically, and even manages risk for you. No emotions, no guesswork, just precision trading on autopilot. It works on MT4, specializes in gold trading, and comes with easy setup and customer support. Want stress-free trading? Try Forex VIM today. Visit forexvim.com or click the link in the description. Let's talk Nvidia here. Jensen was in China going into the weekend, trying to cool things down a little bit and make some friends maybe after what happened with policy going back to the end of the week last week. Here's Nvidia down another 3% here this morning. No one's buying it, clearly.
Nvidia back below 100 is not a good look. And another story in China that they do have is involving Huawei. Reuters reporting here that apparently Huawei is actually looking to start selling some of its chips to Chinese clients at the beginning of next month. This would be their Ascend 910C advanced AI chip. So not going to look for Nvidia now that their competitors are trying to step up in the Chinese space due to the fact that Nvidia has actually been stifled from selling in this space. And that's, of course, related to issues with the American government, issues with China. It's not a great look for NVDA.
Yeah, the downside in the group here continuing this morning, guys, for semiconductors.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Fundamentally not going to tell you anything positive here in the short run for Nvidia. So let's not try to make it too complicated. The chips need a headline badly, and it doesn't even need to be something groundbreaking. You just need to stop this tit for tat. And at the end of the day, do you really does anyone really want Huawei to be incentivized to catch up faster than they already are? How does that doesn't really serve anybody here ultimately. So I think something will happen. It's just unfortunately until then, anytime we consolidate, it just seems like we want to make another leg lower. Right? Like you get to a top, you don't break out the top. The opposite happens. Right? We got that 115. It's like, okay, let's go higher lows and wedge into 115. Oops. Nope, that's not happening. Let's consolidate, drop. So the support turns into resistance, and I feel like this is a market where we're just looking at that constantly instead of the other way. It's more fun when we look at it the other way around. The prior resistance turning into the base. So I want 100. It bounced off 100. Gave you 100 several times, 3 times on Friday as a nice bounce play. So it's a psychological level. It's a round number. It's Friday's lows, which is obviously also last week's lows. I'm just staring down that 100 level over under on Nvidia. I mean, Intel's got 19 even and 1940 as well. To look for, but yeah, my first thought is fade the chips. Nvidia, do we have a date back with the 90 level? Without any positive headlines, the trend would suggest yes.
Yeah, I have Nvidia written down today on the sticky note as the number one short idea for myself. Get over there today. It's right here. So I was just going to say 100 to 101. I mean, normally I like to go long once we're above those levels, but I'm looking to fade any pops, man, as China's looking to get life beyond these chips, right? It's not a great sign also that we're under $100, as Neil just mentioned, so did Brendo there about Huawei. And I just think that if you're going to find an alternative, that's not what NVIDIA wants to hear. Oh no, we got that bad wick. I'm going to have to edit that out. But yeah, at the end of the day, again, what's up, Adam? This is going to make new lows, I feel like, very, very soon. It's 52-week low. Let me just check what it was. Wasn't it 88 and change? There it was. Oh, it's not even on eSignal's chart there. Oh, no, it's 52-week low goes back to basically a year ago today at so here it is right here. Maybe I take that back. I don't think we're going to. That's $76 apparently right there. Oh. That gets erased today. So this is all going to change. So the new 52-week low after today will be like 79, and then it will start to. So that's the 52. Actually, that's pretty ironic. Its 52-week low was on April the 19th, which I know is not today, but over the weekend. So
ominous.
It's been So its 52-week low, $76. Its 52-week high, $153. And it didn't take too long to make that double up. So it doubled from April to Jan 7th was a double there. And then we had earnings, and then this all happened, and now we know what's going on right here again. So yeah, no, I actually thought this 88 was the 52-week low, but now that we've double-checked that, I still think we're going there. I just, more talk about Huawei and more talk about AMD and more talk about things getting done without Nvidia. It's not going to be good for them. So I wrote down a short in there around $100. If we can get anywhere into this area, that to me would be a short. The news isn't good enough for this stock to be green today, that's for sure. And for it to get green today, it has to break above 101.50. So I say let's go. If you want to come back up to here, the story's going to have to change. So I'm going to be short between $100 and $101 if we even get there on Nvidia. Look, it's a nice bump right now. We just went 98 to 98.75. All we need is another $1.50, and we're starting to short again. So right now, okay, here we go. The imbalances are now out. Let's have just a quick little look before we go back. Just talk about one more stock. That's Hertz. It doesn't look, I'm going to have to edit that, but right now there's Nvidia with a small little buy, so we're not really getting too much action off of that buy. It looks pretty mixed today as well. Actually, I'll give the lead to the bids right there. Gold is a buy today as well. I'm not seeing any other major names. It's funny that we're on Nvidia, and they're the only Mag 7, the only big NASDAQ 100 name that I even see on here right now. So it looks like Nvidia, we're definitely looking in the right space. I'm going to assume AMD, and I'm going to throw it back because I know we're running, that's AMDD. I'm assuming that AMD is going to be down similarly to, is that the right number? Yeah, so very similar number to Nvidia. So yeah, all the chip names continue to be in trouble. I'm going to fight Nvidia today with news of China and Huawei sort of making inroads on some of their business. So Nvidia short for me today.
Couple minutes to go here. Hertz, we'll wrap things up with down 11%. I mean, it's been a slow kind of grind off of what happened going back to Friday. All the headlines I was reading over the weekend on this, and even this morning as well, kind of echoing the sentiment of why is Bill Ackman so excited about car rentals at this point?
It is an interesting investment for sure. He posted, as is very characteristic for Bill Ackman, a very long tweet explaining his choice. It's pretty long-winded, but one thing that was interesting is he even suggested, and I don't know if this is hypothetical or not, a potential collaboration between Hertz and one of his other investments, Uber. So really kind of unclear still what he wants. He did positively mention the CEO, Gil West, who then issued a note to employees saying, hey, it's good that Bill Ackman's interested. But even Gil West has just not even seen that sure as to why Bill Ackman's interested. So it's a medical mystery, but great look for HTZ, 39% short float too, guys.
Yeah, giving some back here, as we mentioned today, negative to start. But I mean, guys, this might come back to that level that, Sean, I think you were zoomed out on and looking at on a higher time frame here for HTZ.
Oh, the $8, I'm assuming you mean the $8 level. Because there was a break of 8 that got to like 880. Well, 875, I guess, was the high on Thursday. I keep wanting to say Friday, but Friday was a holiday. So today I'm actually looking at the high in the aftermarket on the announcement, and then the intraday low yesterday, last week on Thursday, was 660. I think it actually might have been 666, believe it or not, but more like the 660 level. If it can hold on to this, it's going to open up, if right here, down short sell restricted, because it'll be 10% down. So I kind of like bounce play mean reversions off that. So 660 will be the first place I look. And then in and around the $6 level, just trying to catch one of those reversion plays. We actually didn't talk about crypto. It's very quickly. I mean, IBIT has held up really, really well. We're at 87,000 in a down market. It's already bounced a couple times off of 86 and change. I'm just looking at all the resistance from last week, which is 49, and then 48 is 48.6 level. That's like the one name I want to be buying dip buys. Hertz is more of let's play the mean reversion if it's SSR. But this is the only name that I kind of like some dip buys on because relative strength or support, I should say, in IBIT and Bitcoin in general, as they have been the king.
Yeah, we have the strongest asset class there is gold, but I think the second one was Bitcoin. So I'm glad you brought that up because we didn't have it there on the sheet. And it was actually the only bid, as I throw my pen around, it was actually the only bid that I had going, and I still have it. And it's going to be Mara right here at the close of Friday, 12.50. So it's actually 12.60. I'm bidding 12.55. You know, generally where the close was. We'll see if it does pull back a little bit. Bitcoin now holding 87,000 and looking hella strong, man. I mean, I love that. Definitely think there's something here for Mara today and crypto in general. I mean, really super strong name there. So we like that. Joe, man, the Leafs. Let's go. I think it's going to be a good one there. As Linus Allmark not going to be able to hold out there. Stolar's looking real good there tonight, last night. So we'll see Tuesday, the next game for the Maple Leafs. All right, but we have only 10 seconds now, and the game that we all love is the stock market, and that's open right here in just 5 seconds, Adaro. So let's get ready to ring that bell and go over and have a quick look, Andre. 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, we missed you, Adara, but we'll get you next time. All right, all good. 1275 coming through for Mara as we continue to look at that. Oh, would you take a look at that? The NASDAQ right now on a move higher. I wrote down TQs pop into 45 if we ever. I'm looking at the close, and I just think that the NASDAQ does have this ability to go higher here early as we had some of those imbalances just coming off. We did have that Nvidia was a buy imbalance, I believe it was small buy imbalance, and there it goes 99.50. Remember, it was the only name that was on there. So back up through $100 goes Nvidia, or to $100, looking like a push for NVDA right now. We are looking at Apple strength early. We knew we wanted to look at. There's Apple, nice pop up to the 200 period as well. Little immature to get little premature. And immature, maybe, to get in a little early, just right now. I don't think it's immature is the wrong word. Premature is what we were looking for. But there goes Palantir right now, up pretty nicely, man, looking to go green. And if Palantir can go green, maybe you are the chosen one, Mr. Karp. I mean, there,
whoa, what the
there
hell?
It goes. Palantir with a nice, yeah, Neil, watch your language, my guy. 94, come on, man. On the day the Pope passes, Neil,
that's
really, Neil? 94.40. Just to the upside.
Oh, I didn't expect it.
You know, last week you said something about my grandmother. Now the Pope. Man. I mean, come on, Neil, man, you gotta get focused over here. 94.40. As we're just kidding around.
It was an honest reaction to how strong that chart was. I'm just being straight up.
Yeah, it's all good.
My
man.
bad.
But yeah, there it goes, man. Palantir really just trying to pop through there. So nice move. And then before I go over to Neil, I just want to talk about one more name to see what was going on. There goes Netflix. Huge move for them as well, up 4%. That's more like it, right? That's that move that we're looking for off earnings. Now remember, 10.20 to 10.25. I mean, the market's going here. I don't think Benzinga's working because I don't hear any highlights.
No, Tesla made a big bottoming tail candle.
Okay, maybe it's time to pick up or short some of these pops, but here we go, man.
Look, Tesla's candle, and look, obviously I wasn't, if you're bearish, you're not expecting moves like that on Palantir off the open. It was a tiny buy imbalance. I mean, come on. But Tesla just got back up to 230. We wanted to short pops into the pre-market high, but can we even get the VWAP is the first question. Hertz is doing absolutely nothing. Nvidia couldn't get to 100 at all, unfortunately. So like, it got to 99.5. I think, look, it's holding VWAP. I think there's a chance that we could actually see this push into 100 on Nvidia. I know a lot of people asked about UNH in the chat. My first answer is I still think you wait a couple of days on UNH. It's headed right back into the lows. 440 has been a good level, but let it calm down. They were down a boatload on Friday. I think you just got to see this stock calm down a little bit. Bitcoin is still holding that 87,000 level. Well, this is the only thing I wanted to dip by. We wanted to buy it off those prior highs in IBIT from last week. So nothing's really coming into key levels, with the exception of Nvidia, which is coming right into these tops and that $100 level on NVDA.
All right, we have a first trade of the day on, and it's going to be Nvidia, and it's already pretty nice. I just wanted to go short. I mean, like I said, man, it's just sometimes we talk about spidey sense and all that, but it's just the prices and the ideas that we write down sometimes don't exactly get to those levels. I don't know whether or not the NASDAQ's going to go up or down, so we are going to start to cover some of this. We just got 98.75. My stop on this is 99.50 break, which is the high right now of the open market. So 99.50 break. So yeah, man, we are going to be short here at 99.25, and we just took 50 cents. So 2-to-1 right there early, and I think I'm going to take another piece out here at 01s as it is trying to bounce a little bit off 99. And remember, the market could... Okay, my mic is no good. So,
yeah,
I'm going to get some more out at 99, but go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, I got that wick as well. You're bouncing off volume-weighted average price in Nvidia. I'm waiting for that 100 level, which could come into play rather quickly. But I got to go over quickly to Tesla as well. So that bottoming tail candle, we're kind of reverting right back into some of these lows. So I don't know if Tesla's going to have the juice to get into the pre-market high, that 234 level, seeming like it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to get there. I did mention the other chip name we're looking for, Intel, had the $19 level. Well, it went right into it and is already starting to fail Friday's highs, 1905. So if I don't get Nvidia at 100, this is pretty much always the backup short plan. We'll see if we can get that one out in front of the 19 level. It's like we're always having these little mic issues here. Apparently mine is now good. Like usually,
I think mine had some some dusty crusties in it or something, according to Ramin. So hopefully mine is okay. Yeah.
Dusty crusties.
Oh, it's dusty in here today. Apparently.
Actually, no. I saw it next to my computer. I need to.
Yeah, but we can't.
My computer is ridiculous.
Can't pay the cleaners anymore around here. What's going on?
I need the air. Do we have a compressed air thing that
Yeah, there's one
gotta
around.
use?
There's one running around.
We do have those.
We do have cleaners, Ramin.
Tesla doing the same thing. It's not at that pre-market high yet. Bitcoin's trying to pull back. I don't know if we're going to get the bid on BTC for now. Hertz, I'm not really seeing anything crazy on Hertz. It's still testing lower. I got the eyes on Nvidia because they don't want to come pick me up. Hertz is coming out. Now Hertz is starting to accelerate into the 660 level. That's the one that we're going to be paying attention to for an SSR bounce play on HTZ.
All right, guys, pretty big trade happening right here again. We started this off. We've been doing this every, I don't know, like at some point it's like, okay, you know, when I keep saying that we do this all the time, it does, you know, you have to be a trader and we talk about this, man, we're here to trade. And it didn't set up perfectly. I would have loved to have a little bit more shares, but at the end of the day, this is great. This was 25 cents. You know, I mean, if you guys were watching me trade and we just talked about what we were looking for, Nvidia is your #1 trade idea on the sticky note. It's the only trade anyone's been, you haven't been into anything yet, right? It's the only trade that we've been in so far here, Nvidia. And right there, Joe, early, it's 9:35, and guess what club we're going to? Yeah, so it's right there, man. It's already a $1. Now it's really starting to get going here, like the market finally falling on its head, and oops, Brittany, but we've done it again right now with Nvidia. So the sticky note remains what it is. And there goes Nvidia. We are absolutely making that move to the downside right now. It's $1.40, it's $1.50. It is starting to go, and it is the one more time. There it goes, man. Day goal. I mean, this is one trade. It's done like dinner right there. Hey, man, we come in tired, we come in ready, we're ready to trade every day, and there it goes, man. Now we're looking at the $2 club right now with NVDA. Adara?
Couple small cap runners on watch here. This is UPXI. We had Brendan mentioning this one earlier in the morning. They did price a offering here at $2.28 per share in a private placement, raising $100 million. They also have about a 1 million share float. APVO, Aptevo, also strong this morning. Back to you.
Bunch of people on that one. Okay, whoa, that is one heck of a candle on Tesla into VWAP. Tesla was just at $228, and it just smoked VWAP. Like a $2.50 move to the upside. I was sitting there chilling, waiting for the pop. We just got those 31s. We're at 88s in front of 31s. We bounced off 230 in there pretty quickly. That's real. Like, well, as far as I'm concerned, I was looking at the level 2. We did just retest those lows. So this one finally came in here. I am still staring down Bitcoin. That's the only thing that I like to the long. It's nowhere near support, so Bitcoin looking really good, but Tesla just 5% down and right into the volume weighted average price and absolutely tanking. Remember, there's still a big gap to $218 on Tesla, but this is the first target, 226.5 on Tesla. As yeah, unfortunately, this market only wants to head to the downside in there. But a little pop into VWAP. We want 226 if we can get it. We'll add back in at VWAP if we can get that as well. I don't know. Are we going to even like Bitcoin if we get this bid? We're about to find out. I think we're testing these lows in a second.
Okay.
Keep an eye on BA here. This is Boeing. Bloomberg reporting here. It's circulating around X that Air India is apparently interested in taking the Boeing planes that are refused by Chinese airlines. In case you missed it, last week we had some reports that China was telling its airlines not to accept delivery of Boeing planes due to, of course, ongoing trade disagreements between the U.S. and China. Now, apparently, Air India, as reported by Bloomberg, interested in taking these discarded planes. Back to you.
It's funny.
So you can always find a market. That's the thing.
Look at this. Yeah, we drove by the airport because we were back and forth from Brampton a couple times, and the Russian plane is still sitting there. As Pearson Airport has a plane from Russia that we are not giving back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Interesting story.
it's just, there it is, man. Thank you to everybody in the chat, man. This is a one and done morning, but we still got to trade. So we don't have to, but we'll still look at some more names here, and obviously, and look to make more trades. But that was a good one there for Nvidia. And by the way, I have about a third left. And on that note, I'm going to take out another piece and have a little less than a third left right now, as we are able to clean out underneath 98. I mean, that was a good level in the pre-market. So yeah, we took out some offers there, and actually sat on the bid and got hit as the offer got a little tick and came back in there on that move down. Now that we're getting a little carried away, I'll put some more here at 98 and figure that out. I saw someone in the chat there say, what about CoreWeave? Yeah, so down 5%.
36.
This is going to be one of those stocks that, we're right back into this level again. And if you like the stock, this is probably a decent spot to buy some. We had seen ARM and Reddit and all that have big opening weeks and then fall back into some of these levels where you never really thought you could get them. Like when CoreWeave was up here at $53, $54, I think traders probably were hoping to get maybe back in near the IPO price. So that is now where you are able to get in, and indeed lower than that. So sometimes when you miss these IPOs, it's not really that bad. You do get another opportunity. So it looks like CoreWeave right now coming through. And yeah, we're just hearing MLGO halted right now. So I don't know if there's going to be news about MLGO, Adara, but we are halted right now, up 56%, closing now unbelievable. There had to have been just a note or something, because we were trading at 980 and then we just bumped to 1060, closing out at 1058, halted now. MLGO, which is, what's that company's name again? Micro Algo. Yeah. So there you go, man. Sometimes you get a mess. There was a messy symbol. That was something. I forget what that one is. As well. But all right, let's just check out on AMD. So Adara will scour for that story if there is anything. But that was instant. And I'm not seeing anything on briefing. So something maybe there. AMD still down 3%. Maybe Nvidia does have. I mean, I feel good that we chose this one as our one trade so far here today, because the other ones were Mara down there at 12.
Bitcoin's mad strong.
Exactly. So Mara at 1250. We were bidding 1255. We don't have Mara down there. I'm also offering Amazon for a sell side. We didn't get to talk about this, but I was looking at 172 to 173 short. That didn't come through. And then, of course, we wrote down, I mean, we'll pat ourselves on the back for the NASDAQ write down, but at the end of the day, I wasn't waiting for VWAP. I was waiting for Friday's close, so we don't have that. So right now, it's $1.30 in the money right now. It's Nvidia. We just got some more out at 99, and it looks, 98, and it looks like it wants to go lower, underneath the 50, underneath VWAP, underneath the 200. Nvidia, let's ride.
Why is this strong and mad, Tony? I don't know what you mean by this here. The only thing strong right now, well, Palantir was strong, Bitcoin is strong, but I don't know what's. I don't know what we're mad about. We're mad about the fact that the market's weak. How about that? No, but IBIT is holding VWAP. I didn't check on Mara specifically. It's just that when you mentioned Mara, I'm like, IBIT's almost at the high of the day when the market's trying to bounce off lows. Look, forget about 49. We can just throw that out there. I think you got to look at the pre-market low. Maybe we can hold on to VWAP, but we're so weak when everything is coming down. I love the fact, I actually really like the fact that Bitcoin is holding up the way that it is in a market this week. That's a good sign overall for IBIT. I want one in front of 27s. We're going to play the VWAP game on Tesla. If we can get another reload in there, we're taking it. I still want to grab Intel as well. But you can see, like, it ticked up to 19, and there hasn't been a green candle since. It's just all red underneath the volume-weighted average price. So if you're looking for shorts, you're going to have to be pretty patient to pick them up, because we're at the lows. ES at the low, NASDAQ at the low. I did want to see if Hertz could do an SSR bounce or break the trend at about 660, like this level in here. It's getting there now, but we're screaming into that. Need to see it stabilize. It's down 18%, so it is short sell restricted. Uptick rule is going to be in effect. I'm just looking for one of those break the trend bounce plays if we can get a bottoming tail candle here on Hertz. Outside of that, let the shorts fly. Although the NASDAQ, something's holding the NASDAQ at these lows. It's not Tesla. It's not Nvidia. It's probably like an Apple or something. Yeah, Apple. Apple's holding VWAP and holding a higher low. So a little bit of strength in Apple is probably holding us together a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some more out on the lows of Nvidia. I mean, I'm bidding 60s, which is the low. So I'm going to see if we can get that price. Oh, actually, we actually have a 40 low. Sorry. The best fill that I have today is 58s. But it is making a nice move down. I'm going to take another piece out. Okay, here's micro algo. All right, it's open again, MLGO. So there it goes, open right now with breaking news on a circuit breaker right now for MLGO. Let's go see if Adara has this story.
I do have a story here with regards to the market. Donald Trump posting on Truth Social once again to start this week. Basically, he is calling on Jerome Powell, or as he now calls him, Mr. Too Late, to lower interest rates, saying that inflation is virtually non-existent and that Jerome Powell needs to be lowering rates at this time, saying that there will actually be a slowing of the economy if he does not do so. NASDAQ on watch here. Also, keep an eye on Tesla. Not necessarily going to be a market-moving story, but worth noting regardless. We do have XAI reportedly with a large capital raise expected. So XAI, of course, run by Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Back to you.
Yes, he is. And
yeah, this just in. Apparently, there's many people that are wanting Donald Trump to be the new Fed chair. So many people wanting Mr. Trump to be the new Fed chair. So, his expertise in economics and rates specifically seems to be one of the better minds available to do that. So, but he might be right about inflation. I don't know if inflation is under control, as he had said, but we had gotten some good prints, which lead to that. The problem is...
It comes down to what you think happens with the tariffs.
Yeah, and
you
it's
think
just
the
like
tariffs are
moving
inflationary.
forward, where are these... Where is inflation going? Right now, it might be fine. But right now, you're seeing, So first of all, Nvidia, good trade over there on Tesla. Nvidia right now, big. But MLGO is halting downside.
No way.
Right now, MLGO. Oh, no, I got to see if I can get some shares short on MLGO. No, I'm offering. Missed it.
We have locates on that?
No. So I got to it too late, and now I'm noticing that it says, yeah.
It must be.
Actually.
You sure?
Let me see what the rejection is there. No shares available. So we're gonna have to go get some shares. I was way late on it. I was not getting shares anyways. But see, when you get into the halt state, I run over. I'm hearing somebody's mic in my background, which is be fine. Maybe it's Adara's is still on. 966. I just go right over there and try to offer. And I wouldn't choose an ARCA. I would choose either a dark pool or like a BYX or Edge A. And those of you that are, in this realm, prop trading and have level 2s like this, those are gateways that you're more likely to get hit on because you have to pay a small amount for the fill. So algos will use those first to fill orders because the algo itself gets the rebate. And oh my God, right now, this is going to we always wish we had held more shares, but there goes Nvidia. It is going to be for me, the trade of the day as, we put on a position. We didn't put on a monster position or anything on Nvidia because it was just early. But guys, this was 25 cents worth of risk to get 200 cents. So you're at 8-1 right now on the risk to reward on this trade. And, that's why I kind of give those targets and let you know what kind of size. And like right now I have about less than 20% left, but in and around there. So we just got a good cover at what I thought was going to be near the lows, which apparently wasn't, as we go all the way down to 97.25s right there on Nvidia. I mean, I assume Tesla also cranking lower, but oh man, yeah, Nvidia. What is UUP doing?
So just very quickly.
Yeah, go, take it.
No, I just took my $2 on Tesla because it put higher low and broke the trend. So I think we get back into VWAP or retest those highs. I just also looked at the NASDAQ, which caught a bid and broke back through the low of the, I didn't accept those locates. Which broke back through the low of the day in here. So we held the low on the NASDAQ at the same time that you were breaking trend. Well, that's going to be an exit. Look for the reentry. Ideally, I wanted Nvidia first. Nvidia was actually higher on the totem relative to Tesla, and this is maybe giving us VWAP as well. So both of these I'll be staring down, while also looking at HTZ, which we might have just missed. We tried to catch that bottoming tail in front of what? 660. Well, that's where we're bouncing. I'm not going to chase that move. We wanted it off of this low. Cancel closest bid there. Wanted off of that 660, which is prior day low, and then the aftermarket high. We didn't get it. Didn't want to chase it. It was a playback into VWAP and maybe those highs. not running too far away. If it pulls back into 660, I'll go long in front of that, give it to the low of the day on Hertz. One of the only longs we were looking at, and the other was IBIT. And
Right.
IBIT wants no part of these lows. It's holding on to VWAP and holding on to trend. So I guess it's just buy VWAP for me on IBIT at this point, because it's 15, 20 minutes into the market, and this is yet to really break this upward trend.
Hit accept on those.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
I went in to do it, and I see that Neil's already in progress to get us shorts.
That's my fault. You have to hit it, and then you have to hit it twice.
So I was like, dude, hurry up and do it. All right, so we'll wait. Good, decent cover on Nvidia. Obviously, a great one there on Tesla. I mean, the whole market's trying to go back to the upside. The one name that I just flashed on, and I was going to talk about before Neil mentioned covering there, was Palantir. Palantir just dropped right into VWAP. So if you're going to get a strong, I didn't take it, and I wish I would have, and I'm going to do it next time. If Palantir comes back into this level, 94.75, I mean, it's not even like that's that huge of a level. If you're just going to look back here, there's not much. I mean, this is 94. This is 95 right there. Breaking. This bottom here is 94.40. So it's not like 94.75 was like something to really look at, but at the end of the day, it's volume weighted average price, and it does hold right there. Normally, I'd like to get a little more aggressive with these kind of plays if the market was also trying to get to VWAP, but unfortunately, we're well underneath it, and now it looks like we just turn around on a dime there at the 50 period and at its past highs. That's twice in a row we've got to 18.1 on the NASDAQ and failed. Actually, twice in a row. That's there, and then basically 3 times over the last 3 minutes, we've had a nice move up and then a crank back down. So I do want to look at Netflix quickly here early. So a great move. And we talked about this, man. Wow, what a level that 1020 is. We had this with Thielman on Thursday. Adair and I, covered this for you on Thursday. And 1020 still the high for NASDAQ and Netflix here on the NASDAQ. One of the strongest names on the NASDAQ is what I'm trying to get at. That goes right there, and that's real. And boom, right there to the downside. So sometimes they do continue to hold on. One name that we've left for some reason today is Intel. Not doing anything.
Not really.
If you scan this barcode, you get 1 free of Intel's best chip. So just scan that and they'll send it to you. I think you have to pay for shipping, but right now it's barcoding. And when stocks barcode, not super interested, especially when you have this kind of a move happening right now. And we're going to put a net. There it is. Yes. Good. Glad to have that. Wasn't sure. We celebrating it a little bit. I'm just getting out pieces now as we're down to 12% left of this trade. But, I didn't know we'd come back here. I was a little nervous that we might have missed that bump there on Nvidia. To the down, TSLX, is that a symbol? I don't know, I almost typed that in by accident. Okay, so I know Neil covered down there, but it's right back at that price, 228 right now for Tesla. I almost said Nvidia again. Looking, there it goes. Now there goes new lows right now on Tesla. New lows in the market, potentially inbound. There goes... Okay, India applying a tariff on steel right now, so that's in my ear. So if you're going to look at something like Nucor, again, the largest producer in the United States for steel. So I would think that would be a decent thing for Nucor, but again, like any tariffs, I don't know what their export percentages are or anything like that, but downside there. Oh, wow, we just get that fill again for us on Nvidia. There it is. That's the low of the day. You sit there and sometimes you get it. So decent opportunity there for me to cash out some more on my friend, and not really my friend in the long term, but my friend here today.
Nobody's.
The thing is, man, I never make as much money on the show as I'm losing in the long term. So at the end of the day,
it's literally impossible.
I bought those athletic greens off Costco.
The thing is, when you're investing a long time, it's just your retirement account is like in the percentages it loses. It is what it is, but it's not fun to look at.
I just want to say something before you go, because Trump right here, this is on CNBF, I think it was. Trump ramps up attacks on Powell, and I know Adair's already talked about this, but listen to this headline. Demands the loser Fed chair lower rates now. Like, no matter what, look, there's going to be a lot of fans of Trump and all that kind of stuff, but should we really, loser? It's just,
Well, what's the point of that?
It's fine, and it's not really fine, actually, but it's just one of those things where it's like, sometimes enough is, it's a lot.
I have zero issue disagreeing with people is the heart and soul of how we get forward in the world by disagreeing and discussing and throwing ideas out there and being able to converse about them. There's nothing
Like the
wrong
man's
with
doing his job. Like if I have a bad trade, I understand that I'll be probably called a loser, but I do appreciate.
I think the Fed was late too, and everyone's criticized it before. But at the end of the day, like there's not ill. I don't think.
No, but it's like late. But
he
he could cut in May. Like I don't know how late this is. The numbers are still in favor of no cut. Like the inflation is what it is. What happened now? IBIT?
We're gonna lose the. I just got. I broke a rule.
We shouldn't talk politics. Like when we say this kind of stuff, and I know you're gonna talk. I just see the chat's getting heated up. This is not an opinion on Powell or Trump or anything like that. It's that talk. When you're using that kind of language, it doesn't instill much confidence in what the future is going to bring.
Well, only thing
for the Fed. I mean, Trump's president.
The entire world economy is built on promise and hope and faith. Because money is debt.
I have a dream.
And that's just how it is, right? So like it's the entire world economy functions on the debt markets. And so ultimately, like our confidence in those markets is what holds everything. So that's just my personal opinion of how money works. Okay. So I think it scares me if there's less confidence in the Fed in the general sense. But let me just very quickly, I broke a rule and put a tight stop on IBIT because I was looking for the break, the hold of VWAP. I said I'm buying IBIT at VWAP. Well, at the same moment, it was breaking the uptrend that it was in. When I got in, was on a break of the uptrend, which is a rule break for me. I don't usually do that, so I'm just immediately jumping out. It doesn't mean I'm going short, but I should at least be thinking about going short on it. We did want to grab Intel. I'll be canceling that offer as that's now headed lower. Hertz is the only thing that would have worked, but it's almost at VWAP itself.
Oh my God.
We're out of Tesla at this point, looking to grab anything on some pops to the upside. Yes, Marky, Hertz is kind of strong, but it's holding underneath VWAP and trending down. It bounced off our 660 level, but your follow-through is a little bit non-existent. And MLGO, for the record, opened up and is flying off of VWAP here. I don't think this is done.
What did this cost us? That's what I wanted to ask you. You remember? Was it like 10 cents?
4.5?
4.5 cents a share? Okay.
No.
In total? Like
sorry, I misread that. It's $4
for 100 shares?
It's 0.46 cents. It's half a cent.
Half a cent. Okay,
I misread.
I even thought 4 cents might be acceptable. But okay, there goes. Okay, so there goes Nvidia, guys. It is now officially. What's up, Ozan? All right, we're going lower, man. This is the #1 trade idea on the board. If I don't ever take the #1 trade idea, hit me overhead with some sort of a cowbell or something. You can actually I'll just go ring the bell with my head over there. But we need to make those trades, and it didn't. Our short was 100 on here, between 100 and 101. The thing is, the minute we opened up, and it was in the first 3 or 4 minutes, I was starting to get a little bit of FOMO because I was like, I really like this name short. We did get a pop up, and I just said to my stop is in. I mean, Neil can verify. Doesn't need to verify. 99.5. Right now is my stop. So we took 25 cents worth of risk. And when I see that kind of a trade, that's where when I have that kind of risk on, with that kind of a stop, I should be like, if 10x is my max, 10 units is my max trade, I should be on 15 units. When I have that short of a stop, that should be a better trade. So I should be doing better on that than I'm doing right now. But still, it's big. We've hit our goal. It's fine. But I wanted to look at MLGO again because that's why I wanted to ask Neil. Made sure it went through. It's doing a whole bunch of things, man. It halted up, then it halted down, and then it's right back to $10 again. And I'm still not even sure. I do want to bother Adara one more time, and I know she has a lot on her desk there because I still really didn't see a story about this. I thought maybe was there one?
None that I've seen.
Right, yeah. So Adara's just saying it's a mover. Yeah. So. Yeah, no story. So again, a halter there. There probably is a story somewhere, but nothing that we can verify for the move. So if you guys know anything about MLGO, let us know and we'll look at it. But I can tell you right now, Adara's on all these stocks. So.
Oh, the other
Uber.
Before I forget, any Holo reverse split, that one from last week. That was HOLO was a penny stock that Sharif and I traded it one day. Sharif traded it every single day. Reverse split, and it's doing exactly what reverse splits do. This is what I should have paid for locates on, not just MLGO. Again, I don't cheer for stocks to go down, but reverse split pattern is it's kind of undefeated in the long run, that if it starts and immediately fails on any, there's a reverse split, and immediately fails, you want to look for the trend into the short. So probably worth a look. Bitcoin is now really starting to bleed. I got out of Tesla. It's still going down.
Oh, is it? I better look at Mara.
225 it's at. Let's go to a dare. We do have one economic number today. Not a big one.
We do. It's not a major one, but we'll go over it nonetheless. U.S. leading index change month over month. Last month, we had negative 0.3%. We're expecting negative 0.5%. As mentioned earlier, really light day for economic data. Donald Trump, only item on his calendar today is his attendance at the White House Easter egg roll. So other than that, no Trump appearances to be aware of. Though, as we know, he can always post on Truth Social. Now let's see here what we got for this leading index change number as it is now 10 o'clock. Still not seeing the print coming through here, so we're going to have to wait. Again, negative 0.7, so leading index change month over month, a little bit lower than expected. NASDAQ continuing to push lower here are the QQQs. Netflix, which was even one of today's leaders, a little bit weaker now, decidedly below that 1,000 level. They did beat on earnings and sales. They also guided higher than expected for Q2, but NFLX nonetheless pushing lower. Here's GLD. We talked about gold being really strong here as a bit of a hedge amidst economic uncertainty. GLD continuing to push to the upside. It's one of the gold ETFs. Gold above 3,400 today for the first time ever. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. And we're talking about, I was mentioning GDX as when gold is strong, don't always assume that GDX is going to go. Well, it's on a bit of a pullback. So, whoops, I wanted to go, there's GLD, load, at the highs, trending higher, and GDX, which is pulling back. I like 51 on GDX. That's where all the buying was. Well, it's where the liquidity was at the end of the day on Thursday. So if we continue that pattern where GDX is in a pullback, I do like them, but I want to try to find a short to pop. I went over to see if Nvidia was going to, whoops, not Nvidia, I meant AMD, because Nvidia we're not in. Sean's in that one. I thought we'd get the 100, we never got it. I like VWAP on any pullback, first chip name that sets up the best. Intel is in that bucket, although, yeah, that's just breaking the low of the day. The only thing to keep in mind with this is we could actually see it test it's a 52-week low, but it's also like a 2-decade low, down around 17.5 on Intel. Big levels down there for them. But this is just a grip it and rip it to the short side. Unless you're looking at MLGO or possibly Hertz could come into the party. I think if you're looking for strength, it's got to be in gold. Even IBIT lost VWAP. If IBIT gets to 49, it's either VWAP or 49 for me. So the next trade is either a VWAP short. I don't think we'll get Tesla again. As a matter of fact, I'm canceling my 230 order. Going to have to wait for that to pop next. That's now at 225 and going lower and lower and lower. Micro Algo's catching buyers off 10 here.
You know what, guys? I mean, we are now, we celebrated the $1 club. Now we're $3 here on Nvidia as I still have some shares. Wow. It is just crushing every single level. But good news, we've got
another one.
And it's going to be right here. Wake up, everybody. We've got a new trade on board. We've got Mara. Let's see. I mean, crypto fell. Neil just talked about that. You know, our level, again, like, you find it at Trader TV Sean, both on Instagram and on Twitter or on X right now. I'm just trying to follow the damn plan, Stan. So here we go, man. I'm getting lighter and lighter on Nvidia. I just covered some for that $3, but MARA right now for thoughts. Long at 67. I was going to try to break this out at 50 on the downside. If we do wind up breaking 50, then we're scramming out of this one. So I'm just trying to scalp this, though. I'm not going to use a whole bunch of shares. It's up on the day. This kind of movement in said NASDAQ has got me thinking, and we know that there's been a decoupling from the Bitcoin and from NASDAQ recently, especially this morning as we were like, why is NASDAQ getting crushed, but Bitcoin continues to go higher? Well, now Bitcoin and Mara are thinking about maybe a little bit of a different story. The reason why we go long here, again, we have 1245 is your fifth, is a 200 period moving average on a 5-minute chart. That's a little low. I was trying to play off this area here. I thought if we broke 1250, then we could get out of here. But now where I see where this is, it's the same price, 47.48. If we break below that, then we'll get out of here. So we're trying to get 20 cents or so. This is 67s. I do have an offer, just to let you guys know, at 74. So if it does rip up into there, we'll go to, there it is. Go, go, go. Bang! There's another one, man. We're back in the building again with another one there for you on MARA. So there we go. 2 for 2 running the show here today is the Nvidia short, which, again, we're pretty light on that, man. We only had 12% there. We have 10% now. Actually, we have a little bit more than 10%. So my math was wrong early. I think we have about that 12% now. So we just covered a bit there. I'm thinking about getting some more out, but it was Mara right here, Neil, that is really starting to go. Again, another name here that we had posted up on the sticky note, and those of you that have been here for a while know all about this. And I feel like today's sticky note really is something special for multiple reasons. A, we're 2 for 2 off of it, but B, it's because it's been graced by my daughter. So there it goes again. Joe, another, man, 5 goals this weekend, tournament MVP. Killed it. They didn't do anything all year, and they took it down. So we want to say a big shout out to the Etobicoke U11A champions, the Dolphins. We're 0-3 in this tournament earlier on in the year and took it down. Over 250 teams. Look at Mara, but not in her age group. But look at Mara overall. Look at Mara right there, 1285. We just put this trade on. So not only do we have that $3 short on Nvidia, we've also now got 20 cents right here on Mara. So good trade right there as we continue to go higher, man. Amazing. The Leafs won. The market is
bleeding.
Not great. So we look for extra little green shoots in all of our lives. And, you
got to find them where you can.
Spend it with family and friends.
Which
Obi on the
go
midday,
short,
by the way.
Which also means the shorts are working. Look, micro algo did just hold $10 in VWAP, so we got in when it reclaimed the $10 level. It just bounced off it again. I'm going to give it to the local bottom. And actually, you know what? It's not the local low. I'm throwing in the halt price. The down halt was $9.65. So just a little bit underneath that and giving it to the halt price. I like those halt levels, especially on names like this. We're going to go try and get some out in front of 1040 and then the high of the day. We didn't quite get to the level on IBIT for myself to try to jump back in. I was looking for that pre-market support down around 49.3. You guys can see it in there. And now you're trending right back into it. So I still like IBIT as part of the plan to go long, or Bitcoin, I should say. It's right at 87,000, and it's running into a little bit of resistance here. But there's no bounce in Tesla whatsoever. It just took 225. It's almost, check that. It is 7% down now. And ultimately, I think headed into 218, 220. So that'll be 10% down if it gets there. I'm out when it trended out and could not get back into that short side trade. So still want to look for at least one of the chip names to catch on a bit of a pop. Tesla, if it goes SSR, that's a bounce play that I'll usually take 9 times out of 10, let's just say. So if we get 10% down on Tesla, I'm taking my shot.
All right. I just quickly, we're going to go to Darren in a second, obviously, but there's Mara right now, man. It's 30 cents in the money. We just told you, man, this is 15 cents worth of risk. Adara?
Keep an eye on TSLA, which is at day's lows below the 225 level, and also reports earnings on Tuesday. Charles Gasparino here, a frequent Fox Business contributor, posting on X that Wall Street sources are expecting guidance on when Elon Musk is set to leave the Department of Government Efficiency during the earnings call. So in case you're not aware, Elon Musk, in addition to leading Tesla and a host of other companies, is also leading the Department of Government Efficiency within the Trump administration. This role initially was set to leave in July 2026. It's supposed to be about a year-and-a-half term, but there's been some speculation she's going to leave a little bit earlier than that due to some issues with Tesla stock. So TSLA on watch here as we have these reports suggesting that we might get some clarity on Elon Musk's Doge tenure tomorrow after the bell. Back to you.
Well, I think most people would want to see some distance put between, you know what, forget, I shouldn't even say that. Stockholders would probably like to see a little bit of distance between any distractions and what is just going on with Tesla. The stock is getting smoked. It was getting smoked before all of this. Let's be real. Before we even had concerns about the tariffs, Tesla stock was getting smoked. And you would like to see it stabilize in that 220 range if it can. But it's now bleeding into that 220 rather rapidly here. It's just not looking good for them. As I said, if it gets 10% down, I am very likely to take a shot. Hertz, I'm in MLGO off of that. It bounced VWAP. It bounced $10. Hertz goes right into 660. So we did have the Tesla short, which was on the list. But when I go back and I look at it, I'm much more I'm much more interested sometimes in looking at the things that we kind of messed up. When I said 660 on Hertz, I kind of missed that trade. Like, I always slap a fail on it. It's one thing to, hey, we like 660, this is why, this is the level, but it's now following through and holding the volume weighted average price. It's all green since putting in a decent bottoming tail candle. You could argue that was a bit of a chase. That's why we didn't get the execution. But if we can start to hold VWAP, that's another way to get into this rocket ship to said upside. Look, first available pop on some of these chip names, we're going to go for it to the long side, but I got to watch out for micro algo. Since I got in off that 10 hold, what I don't like is, and I don't love trend lines when you're dealing with like a halt and all that kind of nonsense, but you are getting a bit of a fail. You're getting lower highs on the 3-minute without breaking this trend. So I actually don't have to move my stop in here. I can just let it fly underneath that halt price. But if it were to break this trend and close again above $10, that actually gets stronger for me. So if it can reverse this pattern, this would be an add and then tighten the stop up by like 15 or 20 cents into this prior bar low. But it's not happening just yet. All right, first big pop here in Tesla coming in. I want to fade this, whether it's the prior bar low, 227, or the opening range low, or VWAP. Let the stock come to you. I don't really believe too much of anything on these pops, unless it's like a 220 level on Tesla.
All right. Yeah. So I hope, and I've seen some comments in the chat here about like our plan of actions and things like that. Like, this is just, we sit at these levels. If they fill, you know, I'm always going to try to give you guys, you know, what I'm thinking and what we're doing with some of the positions that we do have on. So just for example, here on Mara, I only have a quarter left. It well exceeded my expectations. We got the low of the day to the high of the day. Right there. So just as Neil was talking, we actually got another fill up there at 97. So you guys saw me get the 95 fill, then just immediately after that, we got 97s, and now it's just hovering around. So this proper math puts me at 20%. So we have 20% left here on Mara, and I'm actually going to take another 2% out right here at 95 if we can, maybe 94. Okay, we'll wait for 95. Maybe we get it or not. So we'll take out a little piece there. If it does go back up just a little bit, we'll take out another percent, and then we'll be back down into that, like, you know, 15 to 17% or so for that name. And then we're getting lighter and lighter here on Nvidia, but we haven't gotten a fill in 5 minutes, so why don't we think about taking one right now? I'm going to sit on the bid right here and take, it's $3. I mean, I might as well. I don't know if this market turns around or not. If we're going to look here at the triple Qs, because we had written down here the Qs short today, but we were waiting for a bump into Friday's levels, Friday's close, or at least close to Friday's close. That did not come through. Wow, I just covered Nvidia, now it's even higher. So we are now, okay, I missed that Mara top, so I'm gonna offer 90s and get some, so we get that piece out now at 90. But there goes the triple Qs. So if you're gonna look at the NASDAQ right here, this is a 30-minute chart. I mean, where is the next level? You're going to break, like, if this market keeps going, that's only 432. You're $2 away right now on the Qs. And then after this little break level there, this goes all the way back to April 10th. So you're about to be like, see ya at some of those lows that we've hopefully not going to experience. And then you got to look back at some of those days that we had in that huge move higher. So you're coming right back to that flushed out second day off of that 20%, 10% move in the NASDAQ, 20% move in many names, as we come right back in right now for the triple Qs. And if you drop out there, then you are looking to buy at happy 420 to people yesterday, because today I hope you smoked yourself into oblivion, because if you're long the market, you're not going to be feeling this day at all. So 420 right there is going to be a spot for the Qs. So we do have a little bit of a downside play happening right now on the TQQs, Randy, but all is well, because look at this Nvidia short, which is now, Randy's all ready for the club, probably not. 1, 2, I don't know if anybody is, 2, 3. I actually tweeted something out yesterday, and it was like, I used to not be able to, like, I was always so tired not be able to go out at night. And it's like, now I'm just too tired even to wake up. And it's just like every single day. Yeah, I mean, we're good. We're good.
Getting old.
Yeah, it's because that's exactly why. I'm getting older. My kids are getting more active.
That's what I'm saying. You get busier as you get older, which is
And my wife's like, oh, do we want to get season tickets to the NBA Raw, the NBA team that's here, the new soccer team that's here? I'm like,
WNBA.
Well, WNBA. Oh, yeah.
I knew what you meant.
And it was just like, no, I don't. Like, I wanted too much. Like, I had to miss some baseball events this weekend. We have a baseball practice tonight that I got to miss. It's nuts. We'll wait till Erin gets older. You'll know, obviously, if she's a multi-sport athlete. But I think you got to pick one. And I'm so happy to pick hockey, and I'll tell you why. Because honestly,
every kid's different. Some kids don't like to focus on one.
Oh no. Yeah, no.
She wants to do everything right now, which is fine by me.
And you'll find the one that's the best. Like Gia was in gymnastics for a while. But the thing about hockey that I really find out, which is amazing, is the togetherness of the team. Like there's absolutely nothing like it. I tweeted something out. When LeBron scored, and I'll go find it on here. When LeBron scored his 20,000th or whatever that record point was there, this is him on the court. Yeah! He walked around for about 30 seconds where ain't nobody even, like the rest of his teammates are like, all right, good job, good job. He celebrated by himself. When Ovechkin scored that game-winning goal, it was a freaking party. Within 5 seconds, the bench had emptied, and they were all over Ovechkin. And then it was an absolutely amazing experience. And let me tell you,
might be a LeBron thing.
Yeah, I think it's a basketball thing. But at the end of the day, this is what happens: is that you don't I coach. I see my daughter's now playing volleyball. She's played soccer. She's played all the major sports. She plays baseball. There's no camaraderie like hockey because you don't have the locker room. Like kids don't, when my daughter goes before a game, she's sitting there with the teammate 45 minutes before the game, getting dressed, having fun stuff in the they love the locker room.
What's interesting is basketball was always that for me in high school, because basketball had that.
Oh, that's in high school. No, but I'm talking about junior sports. Like when you're playing at this age,
you don't get to
like my son shows up to basketball and he just takes off his pants and he's got the shorts on underneath and he's ready to play. The same thing for baseball. I coach travel teams, and there's a dugout, but there's no locker room, and it's just at this age for hockey, it is so awesome and really just so important to do that, and I think that it's been a big change, and her confidence, not only as a girl in sport, but just in general,
that's the biggest thing,
has been huge, and she's really the locker room leader, and it just shows you don't really get those opportunities in other sports at an early age, like you do for hockey.
Yeah, I can tell you
and
right now,
Canadian,
that
by the way.
The locker room thing is 100% true. I also see the only difference I would say is things where you travel. For me, the camaraderie when we ran track,
right,
and why it was the fact that you're on the bus together, going to a meet. That's where everything came together. My lifelong friends from my university. Well, I married my wife. We met at track, but it was the dudes that I played cards with on the bus.
Right.
And that's the big thing.
And that's what they do every week. They do that in hockey. They're literally doing that.
Travel together is a big deal. Just to go quickly back to the markets. The market lower.
Markets.
Bitcoin broke the high of the day. The first thing to come into VWAP for a short was AMD. I tried to get rid of this wick. Sorry about that. Well, I tried to get rid of this wick. It just won't go. It came into VWAP, was AMD. It wasn't Intel, and it wasn't... Nvidia is at the low right now doing the same thing. But as quickly as we got into that, MLGO,
look at this market,
just lost a bit. So I gave it to the pre-market. It's not a pre-market level. It happens to be a pre-market high, but it was the halt down. We took the long off 10. It broke that halt down. I'm out. If it's not holding VWAP, if it's not breaking trend, I don't want to fight that bad boy. So we're out of that. IBIT's breaking the high of the day, as that'll update in a second.
So you got out. You might want to update your MLGO because
I'm out. I just showed them
the screen. No, but I was just showing.
Yeah, this is it.
Right okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Always adhere to your stop, but on top of that, it never broke trend. So it was trying to hold higher after the halt, but it also couldn't really break that trend line. It does set itself up for another long if it can break the trend, but that never happened. So I think a separate trade would be it breaking this trend line and then go to the upside. Brenworks, that we headed back to April 7th.
Correct.
Yeah. In a loose sense, this is a Qs here because I'm assuming you're meaning that recent low. What's the level that anyone else would be staring down? On Tesla, I 100% think so. On the Qs, it's difficult to say because you're far enough away from it that any news could come in and bounce us. enough. But on Tesla, I will say unequivocally, I believe we are headed right back in to the April 7th low, and you could get that sometime before earnings tomorrow, because that's only, what are we, like $10 away? 15?
Yeah.
We're getting,
Not much now.
it's like we're going to get there.
Yeah, it really sucks, man. This market is not a nice one.
Stock's a bleeder.
Let's go, man. Just props it up. Right here. If you guys are on Nvidia, man, it's now down 5%. We'll just cover some more right here as we go. But now we have about 7% left of this trade, and it is just to the downside, and it's been a good day so far for that trade. On the other end of things, we did not reload down here. I'm waiting for down here. So as Mara continues to go higher, then we'll get some pieces out. So I'm going to get some 88s. This was that, remember we missed some 95s again. So there was my first take rate. Did I not get that trade? No, I did not. That was a take there at 90, as we mentioned that. And then now we're getting an opportunity to get out. Hopefully I'm offering 88s, which we just get right now. So what has been a plane crash in the market is definitely not one here for trading here today for myself, as we have 350 in the money now and 30 cents in the money on Mara. We're going deuces today, 2 for 2, big time movements in the market and decent trading over here today. Just too bad it's to the short side. I would have much rather have been long. I like the longs in this market. Maybe a Palantir could be a long at some point there. Oh, it just bounced off, didn't even notice that, off the 200 period moving average. So we'll have to look at Palantir and give that a little look to see
what I just realized?
if the market does. We do have to go to Adara, but what?
My Bitcoin is frozen. I always have Bitcoin up, and it's frozen at 87. I'm like, what the heck is going on? We're at the highs. Why am I seeing 87? Bitcoin just broke 88,000.
Yes.
Let's go to Adara. It's time for the small cap recap. No.
Next segment, we will be going over crypto, but for now, let's take a look at these small caps. Really weak today. IWM basically at day's lows here, having a little bit of a stall at that 183.75 level. Currently below lows here around 183.25 for the Russell 2000. Lots of small cap runners on watch. UPXI, near day's highs. Great look for this one. Did announce a private placement valued at about $100 million in gross proceeds. This morning, UPXI has about a 1.3 million share float. MLGO on watch here as well. Myco Algo, this one rallies quite a lot. I couldn't find any story on it. About a 5 million share float that I could see. 91%, according to Trade Ideas, is sold short. So pretty significant short float here for MLGO. Then we have DWTX, Dogwood Therapeutics, about a 1 million share float name. No catalyst that I could find, but this one, much like MLGO and UPXI, has rallied rather frequently in the past. Back to you.
So as I was saying, we're above 88,000. We're actually continuing to fly. So the downward trend, it never took you into 49. It never took you into the pre-market low. And then when we regained VWAP, we just exploded through. Actually going to move that dip to from prior high. We're just going to look to the first available dip on Bitcoin. If we're not going to get VWAP back in there, then we want to join this trend. It is incredibly strong, relatively speaking. I think that's sort of obvious. AMD trying to hold the lows. I'm going to reload it, VWAP, if we can get it. You think where you headed on AMD, keep in mind, like it's a sizable gap from this 85 break down to where we were on that April, it was April 9th that AMD made its lows. So it's a sizable gap with like a couple of stops, 83.5 and 81 on this. So I think there's a lot of room for this to fall, only down 3%. I say only because Nvidia is down 5.5%. Right, but only down 3% for now on AMD. It's a Bitcoin story if you're looking for something to the long side, though. That's about it. Gold, too.
Yeah, props up for that. I mean, that's exactly the same logic that we had there, and that's why we have Mara huge. So there goes Mara. Nice move there to the upside. Some talk about Roblox came there earlier on today from Brendo. What exactly is Roblox doing? I mean, underneath VWAP, looking to go a little bit lower, but still, you know, nicely cooking here today. Only down 0.37 when you have the market down 2.5%. This is not a horrible name. And, you know, underneath, though, looking at a Roblox, try to buy some, I don't know, man, you're bouncing off the 50-period moving average. We had said that we're not necessarily looking to, I still have a little piece of Roblox. We're not looking to do too much with this spot that I have, but on a daily chart, We already talked about it bouncing off the 50, a little bit of a longer term. Down here into 59 if the market actually gets a lot worse, and I think that could be a trade idea down there if we get into $59 because of Roblox strength here today. So that could be a look. All right, so out of Mara, we only now have less than 10% of this position left, and we still have a decent spot on Nvidia, and by decent I mean like 6-7% right now, which isn't horrible. Wish we had a little bit more, obviously. Palantir wants to bounce there again. So thinking this 92.60 there for PLTR could be something. I'd rather catch it like if it breaks higher than really trying to like say, hey, maybe this holds, maybe it doesn't. But you're getting into an area now where you could do the same kind of situation that we have here for Nvidia, where you're seeing a bottom, just like we saw a top there for Nvidia, and you short it with limited risk and then cash out when it goes boom. And you could be doing something very similar here with Palantir, where it's coming to the downside. We do know that if this old index over here, the NQs, do wind up going, that Palantir has an absolute monster of an opportunity. So that could be something for sure, Palantir bouncing. But that's 92.50, so I think we got to wait a little bit. Let's put a bid at 92.80 for Palantir. I'm going to do that right, PLTR. I'm going to do that right now, 92.80. If we do come into there, we'll take a fill, and then we'll give it to this level. And if it breaks lower than where we are right there, that's 92.50. Let's give the fill to like 92.39. If it breaks it, we don't want to get wicked out immediately, but we'll take 11 cents or so worth of risk off of this 200 period on the 1 minute chart. So we'll see if it comes back in. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We still got Mara, we still got Nvidia. I'm actually going to cover a little bit of Nvidia right now. Maybe we're bouncing off of 79 a little bit. Adara with her update.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. With Trade the Pool, you can trade real stocks with massive capital and only put down $47 to get started. Trade the Pool offers 2 ways to get funded, and both give you access to up to $200,000 in company capital. It all depends on your trading style. The Max plan is built to reward consistency with a smooth path to payouts, while the Flex plan is designed to fit you when you need more time and flexibility. Whichever path you take, your risk is capped and your opportunity is unlimited. So join tradethepool.com. Just scan the QR code and get 10% off. Also worth noting here, Donald Trump right now set to attend host this White House Easter egg roll at 10:30 a.m. So in a couple minutes here, not something that is likely to be market moving at all, but we know if there is any Q&A, there's always a chance that Trump will be asked about the economy, specifically with regards to tariffs. So market on watch here, Donald Trump and Melania Trump hosting the White House Easter egg roll. Back to you.
Sounds pretty cool. Remember CoreWeave in 36? Well, we're here now. In a weak market, you tend to reach levels. So this is an all-time low for CoreWeave, but it's an IPO. Well, it's okay, not yet, but the 36 level is. You just had a nice hold of support when the markets were breaking lower. I could redraw like a trend line from when it broke the pre-market low, and you could see that it's kind of breaking out the trend and holding this prior bar low. So first shot, I'll give it to the actual low of the day, but I want long shots off of 36 since last week on this bad boy. So we're in a CoreWeave for the first time in here. The stop is going to be at the low of the day, but I am willing to take multiple shots. 36 is ultimately the bottom, but with the market going lower, this just held the higher low and broke the trend on CoreWeave. Tesla is still allergic to the 50 period, to VWAP in here, but it did do a pretty sizable bounce. So I think that kind of a leg up, holding 225. If we're not going to get VWAP, then the only other place to join it is going to be where the selling came in off that big buy order. So 225.50 is the current high. I'll look to take the only shot that we can get at this point. If we're going to get one more push and hold 225.50, that's where we re-enter the trade. Otherwise, we're not going to get any other second play at Tesla. I'm trying to get more on AMD at VWAP here. Like, it did a lower high of the volume weighted average price again, and then I offered at 85 and then didn't get filled. So still trying to add to this one on pops. Lower highs all the way through, trending down. I think 83.5 is going to be the target for me on advanced micro devices, but still no reload at VWAP.
Yeah, so just quickly, we were able to get in and out of Palantir. I took a 93.10 fill. or 93.15 fill, and just got out there at 40 when it popped back up into that level. So we get in and out right there just real quickly on Palantir. I just wanted, the market looked like it was going, so I punched in. It went up, and then we just got out immediately. So that was within 2 minutes, a real quick trade there. I'm not going to. It was smaller shares. It's not a big deal. I was just trying to play for that run. I'm still waiting for 92.80, so that should. Okay, what if I don't want to miss it just by a little bit. We'll take a small fill right there. We're not taking huge shares here. I don't want to catch a falling knife with like a maximum position or anything like that, but I do like the trade, so we'll take a little bit here. We just took 89s. We were waiting at 81s, so hopefully it can come up to that level and get us. There it is right there, man. Let's just fire off the hot dog gun. We'll talk about what's for lunch in a couple minutes, but hopefully it's not going to be hot dogs. There it goes, man, up to 13.10 right there for Mara. We're long at 12.60, man. Okay, there we go. Okay, shawty, come to the party. There it is, let's go. We'll take a little bit out right now on Palantir. And oh boy, we're doing a face slap again as we get this Palantir trade. Look, Again, I told you, man, if you're following me, I'm going to tell you in the chat where we're sitting, where I'm bidding, what's going on with these trades, and there it is right there. There's your 92.81. I said I was bidding there, so here's 20, 30 cents right now. I'm starting to cash it out, man. I want to hold more, that is for sure, but we are already out right there of 25% as here we go to the upside, man. I'll take 25 cents, put it in my pocket right now, and just start to do what we like to do around here, and that is stack some damn cash. So there it goes right now, man. It was a hell of an expensive weekend, getting cheaper by the minute. Here we go. Nice move to the upside. Let's go. 93.21, 93.22. Let's get higher and higher and higher. There it is. Bang, Neil. We go 3 for 3 right now. We'll just go yee-haw as that money's starting to come in again now. There's another idea. And again, we built this trade. If you're listening to me, I said the number one stock for the long that I wanted to look at right there was PLT to the R. So we have it. What's up, Bianca? Hope you had a good weekend. There goes Palantir, Nvidia and Mara. So they're all working out for us right now. I did want to go to the attention. Neil was also in MLGO. That is now halted to the upside goes MLGO. You like the new hat? I got a new little Blue Jays hat here as Bianca's going to be posting on social media there today. We are now at the highest spot we've been at all day, baby. There goes Micro Algo. There goes Palantir. There goes Nvidia. $3 in the money on Nvidia as we go short right now. It's too bad the market's bleeding, but at least we're making some money.
Market's actually starting to bounce.
Yeah, not really. Having a lot of fun right now here at Trader TV Live. Take it away, my guy.
Well, I said the market's starting to bounce, and we're right back and retesting lows, mostly because I was getting my fill on the short. I got that 85 again there on AMD. But this is going ham. We're going to go to crypto in a second, which is perfect timing because Bitcoin just tagged 88.3 and continues to run. Now it's pulling back for the first red candle potentially in about half an hour here. Let's go to Adara and see what's driving this insane rally in Bitcoin, although I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, good. Make some money somewhere.
Bitcoin or digital gold and actual gold or GLD, both having really good days today. Here's the 5-minute chart for BTC. As Neil just mentioned, near days highs here, though that 88,000 level, I guess this area above to that 89,000 has been a little bit of resistance for BTC. So let's take a look at the daily chart here. We last week struggled around 86,000, cleared that easily today, but we still have some overhead resistance going back to March 24th, about a month ago, around that 88.8 level, currently around 88.4. So let's see if BTC, while it cleared out last week's resistance level, can clear out a little bit more as we continue to push to the upside. What are some of these other crypto-related names doing today? Ethereum up about 3.5% here, nicely above that 1,600 level. XRP 3.5%, BNB 2.5%, Solana 1.5%. Doge and Cardano both about 5%. So great day across the board for crypto, regardless of what you're trading, it looks like. Best of luck to everybody today in these wild markets, and make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing. Back to you.
Yeah, best of luck to everyone out there. But just to give you an idea, talk about all those green candles and you saw the strength in Bitcoin. Well, look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is a complete opposite on the 15. There is not a green candle in sight when it comes to the NASDAQ. The the S&P is exactly the same thing. I was talking about how Apple was holding up. relatively well. Well, is going to be the key feature of that. Losing VWAP, the volume weighted average price, as well over there in Apple. But I want the Bitcoin party to just continue. It just put in a topping tail candle. I got to check to see why sometimes I draw, I'll leave a resistance line in there for a while. But I guess Adara pointed out to you guys in that 15-minute. But you guys can go back. That 88, it's like 88 or something like that was a big level. I think it works out to this 50.35 on IBIT. That's why I have a line on the chart. But I think you get a pullback off this level. I'm looking to buy the dip on IBIT. We only want to be long this thing. Took one shot on the way down, but we'll try it again on some kind of a pullback here. I'd love us to get deeper, maybe into the 50 level or to the volume weighted average price. PSYOP says it is 88,888 on Bitcoin. I don't know. Maybe that is the level. I just drew it on IBIT because that's what we trade, and it's underneath 89 and above 88.5. Let's just leave it at that. So I think you're at the resistance spot, so I don't want to buy the top. I'd love us to either clear out and hold bids above or wait for our chance to get that little bit of a dip on IBIT for the first time. Tesla is not really doing anything anymore, hanging out at that low, not really giving us too much of an entry point. So that's the weak one we wanted back into the short. This is a strong one that we're trying to grab into the long. And if you look across the board, a lot of people say, why not trade MicroStrategy? Maybe you get a little bit more pep in your step or bounce for your buck. It's a similar chart. It's got the same movement on it, obviously. I just like IBIT. I like the liquidity. Don't like the spreadiness, et cetera, of MSTR. That's just my 2 cents. I even prefer trading Mara to it as well.
Yeah, Mara was a big one. Oopsies, that's the wrong thing. I was just sending a message there to Bianca. All right, so, oops, now it's stuck. Okay. Yeah, Mara today, exactly what Neil was just saying right there. I mean, have your focus where it needs to be. And for today, we had so I have 3 trades on, and actually the third one, Palantir, it's not going to be the best, but could be. Nvidia, well, probably won't be this Nvidia short, but there's Nvidia short, there's Mara. We talked about that. So the Mara long and then the Nvidia short, I just took exactly what I wrote down there. Short Nvidia right off the open, $100. Didn't quite get there. We took the 99.25 level. Gave ourselves only 25 cents worth of room to now make 370 cents. So that ratio there blown out of the water. Mara, we were going to stop out if it broke through 1250. We actually have our stop at 1244. We just took that one about 4-1. Mara is still going higher as well. Amazon is something we should look at soon because if the market's going to drop down, we need to see what Amazon's doing. I wrote down 172. It's going to be nowhere near there. And then the TQs, I like that as a fade, the pop, but we didn't get really any pops early other than what I was already involved with, and that was right there on Nvidia. So right now, just doing the math, under 5% left of Nvidia as it does pop. I'm getting out of everything at 96.50. So we talked about the 50-period moving average on your 1-minute chart. That right here, guys, is where I'm getting out, 96.50. So it's pretty simple right there. And then, by the way, damn, Palantir. What's up, Alex and company there? Because now Palantir is just doing it again, man. And we could have bought that dip twice. It was so nice, and we didn't. But there it goes, upside for, you know what, I just missed that 30, eh? All right, so I'm going to punch some out there, get some 22s as we cross the market. But there it goes, some more outs right on the upside of Palantir. So these are my 3 trades today. The Palantir long off the 200, bang. And not only that, again, I saw some talk in the chat, you guys are not, this was a long time ago, but it was just tell us, where our orders are, what we're looking at. I think we do a good job of that. So yeah, we talked about buying there, where our stops were going to be if we got stopped out. You saw me put the stop in. The stop was 92.39 if we got lower through that 50 level. So we did take a starter position here at 80. We were going to load it up if it got into there. It didn't. So we're starting to get some out right now. I don't want to paper hand. We're not paper handsing anything, but I want to try to hold this now. We can see if we can get back up to VWAP. That'd be nice. And then the Mara trade, again, one in, bang, right down there, right where we wanted it. At the low of the day, we have the low and the high of the day. So it's been pretty good. And that high, I always sit, and I know it's a dark pool print at 8 o'clock and things like that. I try to get out right there at the majority if we can at these levels.
But that one counts.
And then I still do, what happened? Oh, Ramin? Oh, Blue Ocean? Oh, okay, yeah. So what was the high there? 1310 I have there.
It was the actual overnight high.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's strange. So there you go. I just used some of those dark pools, and Neil's sort of found something with Blue Ocean sometimes.
Well, I didn't find it. Well, I can't take credit for finding. We'll get to AMD in a second, but I can't take credit for finding. It was pointed out to me by somebody at Real Trading that you should maybe take a look when you get those dark pool dumps at 8 o'clock or at 8:05, whenever it might be, and those highs will be essentially resistance. Now, on Mara, is it going to matter that much? I would wager that you're going to be looking at IBIT at levels like this. So if you go to IBIT on Blue Ocean, and this is just the overnight market, which is great for Bitcoin because it's 24 hours. So that was, like, there's your high in there, 49.9 on IBIT. And you could look at Mara, you can look, Alibaba does the same thing. And then look when we broke away from that overnight high. So you get your dark pool wicks at 8 o'clock, and this is when we broke out that level. Sometimes that's going to be a good play. But I'm not going to let AMD get past VWAP. I keep trying to get rid of this wick in here that just hates me. We had it. It didn't quite ever break 1-to-1 because it couldn't take out that $0.50 and break out that low. So I never actually took anything out. I was looking for better than that 50 pennies in there because I was risking 50 cents on the position. So overall, this one's really starting to look relatively strong over there in AMD. But this dip, to me, is just giving you confirmation that IBIT's the one. Like, it can't even get back. Like, it can't even get back to that prior breakout level in front of 49.9 and 50, and we just put this bottoming tail candle at like 50.15. So it could end up a consolidation play. But for now, we'll play patience. We're at the resistance spot. Like, I had that line up there on the 15-minute from a while ago. So if it's going to fade back in, I still want to wait for this to push down a little bit lower. It's IBIT's world right now for the longs, and everyone else is just trying to fit in. Tesla was the initial short that we had is starting to come back into VWAP. So the reload to try and grab back on trend for Tesla looks like it's going to be coming in just a minute or two. I think we get a retest. It's about 227.5 at this point.
Joe's dressed for the club. And if you're trading Palantir, you might not be dressed for the club, like I'm clearly not. But when you have these kind of trades going through there, you're not too worried about attire. And there it goes right now. Nice move to the upside for Palantir as it's starting to go again. So there it is. Thank you, Martinez, for that. Yeah, so as Neil mentioned, strong. It's funny because the two strong things we keep talking about are Bitcoin and Palantir, and I've got both of those on right now. I know that you were just into AMD, but no, I didn't want to talk about AMD.
It's relatively
sorry.
strong.
It is, yeah. Actually, that would make me think about Intel. I wanted to think about what...
No, it's not there yet.
Yeah, Intel's not. So we got... Wait a second. Where's my Nvidia? 96.51. Did that not break yet? Oh, so I was like, why am I not out of Nvidia? But it is like pennies away because, we were talking about that trade there on AMD. I was thinking, okay, well, it's a good thing that we have like less than that 5% left of Nvidia. But right now, I thought it would come out. It's going to come out right now. It's at the 50-period moving average. If you weren't in this, like, for example, I'm in Palantir. That's running up. We're in Mara. Here's my Mara trade. I have 3 trades on. I think that that's pretty good right now for the day. 3 trades, 3 for 3, and all ideas that we had from the jump. So I like that kind of an idea. If we can get back to VWAP, fine. But so far, so good right now. We do have Adara, I believe. We do. So let's go over to Miss Adara and find out what's up with her.
Here is Sector Watch, and wow, a lot of these sectors are going to be notably weak. Technology services right across the board, with the notable exception of NFLX here on earnings day one. Electronic technology right across the board. Nvidia dealing with some competition here from Huawei with their AI chips, as reported by Reuters. Apple, Broadcom also to the downside. Finance week here. AXP down about 4% on earnings day two. AMZN leading the retail trade group to the downside. Consumer services week. Producer manufacturing week. Utilities week. Transportation week. And health services week. UNH had a really weak day going back to Thursday. Now today down about 4% on earnings day two. Consumer durables and energy minerals week. The one sector with a little bit of hope potentially is consumer non-durables. Coca-Cola and Mondelez both marginally positive today. They're the largest name in the sector. Procter & Gamble down 1.5%. Back to you.
Procter's down 1.5%? That's not even... it's a bad market if Procter's moving close to 2% down. Like that's a stock that ain't supposed to move like that, or isn't supposed to move like that, I should say. Don't say ain't, Neil.
I ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. We were talking about the Chappelle show as we went to Pickle Barrel at Bramley City Center. That was a shit show.
I've been to Pickle Barrel,
but it was actually the food wasn't
like
that
Pickle
good.
Barrel?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, it's not that. The guy that manages our team there, he booked a spot for MLGO is going. He booked it for 25 people. We had like 50, so it was a nightmare there, and they had really not too much clue what was going on. But there it is. Look at MLGO right now, 77%. Like this name is just. Look, man. I mean, I'm here on the Benzinga Pro platform as well, and I'm trying to find news. All it's saying about MLGO is halt, all over the place. So MLGO, and we've already asked Adair about this, and she's been scanning. So if there was anything, we'd get it to you. Shares are trading higher. Here's MLGO. There's not even a story today on the Benzinga Pro. So I'll just hold out and say, go micro algo go, and think that it's probably a swaggy stock or a Reddit name here, that this just keeps on going up. And we know the power of the people, that is for sure, as you continue to move markets. I mean, we've seen it with our friendly neighborhood Game Store here. Wow, GameStop is back to 27. Wow, good job there for
27.
GameStop. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it holding that 21 level there, and that maybe somebody secretly was gathering up some shares down there or not. But every time we got near there, we had a nice wick bottom, and then a boom goes the dynamite as the Catman may be on the prowl. Hit the cricket thing, man, Ramin. Hit the cricket thing there. And maybe there's something going on with
on the wrong page
GME going through. So, yeah, at the end of the day. So I did not rebuy any of this as we've been talking about XBI a little bit over the last little while because it's just been such a bad ETF. But you've got a huge move up. Thank you to somebody in the chat that was like, XBI going a little ham there, and it sure is. And there was a nice move down. This is the biotech. So again, lower rates are generally great for biotech companies because cost of capital is so expensive. And when they borrow money to develop new drugs or whatever, sometimes they have to, suffer through higher rates. Lower rate environment should be decent for them. So if we do get that rate cut, remember who's in charge of the Fed right now, maybe Donald Trump. I mean, I say that like honestly, if he's going to fire Powell, and I know he can't do that. Can't do a lot of things. I'm not going to talk about the deporting. We can't do a lot of things, but at the same time, things still might manage to happen. So whether or not that goes down or not, I think higher rates is better for this space. So, if the rates do come down because Donald Trump happens to go to dinner with Jerome Powell, and all of a sudden Jerome Powell's singing a different tune, then I would see an XBI making a move to, Fed.
I got a dollar says they're not going to dinner together.
Donald J.
Just going to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, Jerome would accept. Well, they had went the first term when he had hired him. So,
I think it's a little different now, though.
I don't know. I mean, I think Trump's willing to have him come through and see what's going on. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I have no idea.
Who knows? But ultimately, no. I think you're. There's no question about there's no question about that for the race. And so, watch what would happen if Powell comes on board with the rate cuts. Watch what would happen to the IWM. Like the Russell would matter a lot on that day. Who knows if it's going to end up happening? Just quickly, I think it's a short the pop type of market.
Enough shares.
The one green candle on the NASDAQ just happened, and it was a reversal candle, unfortunately.
What? Oh, my God.
So, yeah, when that happens, you short the pops. We wanted Intel at 19. We're not going to get 19, and it couldn't get to the volume-weighted average price. It just curled here. We'll play it to the low of the day with the reminder that Intel, it's getting really, really close. And I'm not going to zoom this chart back further than this. Yes, these are 52-week lows if it gets 17.5. And there was monster support for a long time at $18.50 where we are now, but we've already breached this once. And Intel, it's just a bleeder. That's all.
Yeah.
Tesla did not get to VWAP. It tried. It looked like on that candle we were going to get a bigger push on Tesla. I was sitting right in there. Go ahead and cancel that. We'll look for any kind of consolidation underneath to join right back into the short. And the patience probably going to pay for IBIT, as it does seem like it wants to roll right back in. So that overnight high was 49.9. The breakout price was 49.9, and VWAP is sitting right in here. So this is where we're looking to buy the dip on IBIT. We'll see if we get a chance at it.
Yeah, I know it's in play.
It's for the first time, it's starting to fall right back into us here for IBIT. Up 4% doesn't really matter because it's a 24-hour market, but the fact that it's even green and trending up says everything with what's going on with crypto. You got to love it.
So I just, I had to say something because I looked over and realized, because my net wasn't even changing, but I realized that Palantir, we were supposed to stop out if it broke 92.39, but it's kind of a good story, bad story situation. My stop order fired off, but I didn't have that many shares left, so it was the wrong amount of shares, so it would have stopped me out. So at the end of the day, I did wind up buying some 90, so we'll be relatively flat with slight red mark here on Palantir because we just tried it again right down here at 92. So when it fell back in, I didn't have that many shares. I reloaded it there, was able to get some out for about 20 cents. And then all of a sudden now we're breaking a little lower here on PLTR. So now we have to wait for it to take 92 again. And then I may punch long and use whatever this bottom is. But I'm not catching this. No way, no how on Palantir now. I mean, that was a pretty aggressive move, almost as if that was news-based. It went from 93 to 91.90 in 1 minute. Like just whoops. How is the biggest red candle happening when the market is kind of
bouncing?
Yeah, well, it's not bouncing now, but when the market's kind of doing this, and now the market's at lows. But at the end of the day, there it goes. It's Palantir, it's downside. We're out of that one. So we will slap a fill on that last little piece. But again, if something's going to be strong, I still like Palantir, and I'm not afraid to say that and to get back in as well. For Mara, guys, I have less than 2% left. This fill, we already talked about that. That was an absolute monster fill. So meet fill, because right there, we did not hold anything of this. So with this kind of a market, if you're going to win on longs, you better get that, you know what, out of Dodge. And then my guy, we got to go over there for money talks in just a second. But Obi sits down here and goes, check gold. And I was like, yeah, we talked about gold earlier on. It's not doing too much there right now, but it is fading out through the 200, through VWAP and coming back in. So maybe we lose gold here as well. Look, happy to be in $3 and change here on Nvidia. You know, it's going to be a well-traded day, but unfortunately, we did give some up there on Palantir as that nightmare continued right into the low. We should take that long right there into the low of, well, the market is still bleeding. See, so right now I get excited because we're right there into the pre-market lows. That's generally a trade that I like. So we could try this with a little bit of room, but like if you take enough hits, even small cuts, and again, you take enough of them, you know, it will wipe out, you know, your wins. And so right now, let's just stay calm. We're already in this right here. And then we are going to go. I just want to show MLGO because there are some people talking about it. $11. There are many, many people trading MLGO today. $11 right now. Nice move higher on this one. All right, I'm going to hit this because it's going over to a great segment. We talked about this earlier. What's going on with the DXY? What's going on with the dollar strength or weakness? Japanese yen, euro dollar, and of course, our great Canadian peso. What's up, Dara?
Ouch. That's cold.
Cold as ice.
JD in India. Apple
I think our friends at Profit X, because if you're looking for unbeatable odds in the biggest games, you switch to Profit X's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. Profit X, sports playing reimagined. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cashback up to $300. And we're going to take a look now at Money Talks. Here's the daily chart for the DXY. You can really see this bear flag, kind of continuing bear flag patterns coming into fruition here. We had this push to the downside, start of April, around April 10th. Then we consolidate for a bit before pushing further lower. Right now, around 98.4 for the DXY. But if you look at this daily, this 5-minute chart here, that was the daily, we're actually recovering quite nicely here. Bit of a rounded bottom smile pattern forming for the DXY. Let's see if we're able to reclaim everything up to this gap here on that 99.2 level. We always have to look at the CB Fed Watch tool. It's a really great look at the sentiment heading into these rate cuts. So May 7th now, only a couple weeks away, is going to be the next Fed meeting. 88.2% of participants are not expecting any rate change, but 11.8% of participants still expecting this 25 basis point cut. Actually slightly up here from Friday, 9.1% of participants, but certainly down from 20.3% of participants expecting this cut a week earlier. And we've talked for a while here about the stability here on the June outlook. June, we still have 66.6% of participants expecting 25 basis points of cuts. Back to you.
Want to shout out to Tipo Master for the super chat. Appreciate you there. JD in India, you say. Apple on the Intel 18A, which I looked up. You have like Nvidia and Broadcom also testing that process. Shorts may die. So, what I would suggest you're saying.
What?
Well, it's an interesting sentiment because it's hard to say that shorts may die today, I think. But
wait a minute, shorts may die?
Yeah, shorts may die was the end. I hope that ends up being, in a general sense, true, right? Like we hope that the market, we hope the market goes up. Certainly, any clientele that Intel can grab on a big, larger sense to use their technology is going to be a good thing. As you can see, a bit of a trend break happening here on iBit. So, looking to start getting into the long on Bitcoin here. We're holding 88,000 back above 88,000. So, I'm going to try to grab that long there. But yeah, I hope for everyone's sake Intel goes higher. I hope that's a good thing for them. I don't know much about JD and that story, but certainly this is one that maybe it's just gone so far down that you're not going any further. And we've made our low in the high teens here, but we're still in a downward trend to retest the bottoms on this bad boy. So, I'm shorting the pops at least until we break the volume weighted average price. You're right into Friday's lows, which is the first stop, and it makes sense. Support turning into resistance. So unless that resistance breaks, I think I'm holding the short over on Intel. I don't bet against any stock. I think it's like, why would anybody not want the market to go up? But I'm a little skeptical in the short term that shorts are going to get blown out of the water. Not in the market that we're having today. Unless you mean shorts in like a squeeze name or like an MLGO. But, or maybe you meant JD.com. I don't know. But Intel, I feel like the shorts are comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to be worried. I think, Neil and I think, do a good job of talking about where you have your stop orders and things like that. So, I mean, if you are thinking about hitting some longs, I do think there's some good long opportunities in the market. It's just we need to settle down. I think we're getting that right now. So I'm looking to pick, I'm going to pick up a small piece right now at 88s or whatever I just punched in there. What did I get? What does it show on the board? Hold on a second, 89s. Yeah, so we got 89s there on Palantir. Small piece, right? About like less than half a unit. I'm waiting for more down there at 91.60, which was that bottom that I said we could have taken that risk on down there at 91.60 because it did go up to 92.15s or so right there on that bump. So what goes bump in the night? Palantir, potentially. 91.60 out at the day's low if we break that. This is one of those like YOLO plays, and what I mean by that is not share size wise, but that if it's the bottom, and you never, I don't have that crystal ball. Like we've nailed the trades that we've wanted to nail today. So right now, just in fact of trading, we're looking for more opportunities. And on that note, I'm looking to see what is. Yeah, for lunch, you got that right, Joe. Perfect. Right there. Today we had hard-boiled eggs early, and we always had the fruit salad, which is always pretty nice here as well. Ooh. Okay, I think there's some potential here. I think Miss Adara may like this, but the word pepper is in it, so I'm not sure. But that's not a good sign for Adara. She's already a little bit nervous about this. But today's lunch should be okay because it is going to be Chinese-based, it looks like, and it's going to be black pepper beef with wok tossed noodles, garlic veggies, and some Napa cabbage Asian slaw. So black pepper beef, not bad. I prefer that. Wok tossed noodles, let's go. They've done pretty well with the noodles around this place, it seems like. And then garlic veggies. I think that's all right. Well, that's what is around here.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that's
can't be. Oh, dude, at my buddy's 50th, there was like it was a West Indian place that his wife got to cater it.
Nice.
They had a stuffed Jamaican patty that was it was ridiculous. My only beef was they did it. It was. Standard. Like you had the little tomato in there. Obviously, it already has like ground beef.
Right.
So it was tomato. I don't know what sauce they were using. I tried to ask her what the sauce was because lady was there and she was like, it's our own little recipe, and she didn't give it up at all. But it was like vegetable stuffed. It was nice spice, but nothing was too spicy, which was weird because my buddy, they're really into spicy food, and everything there was
done screwed up.
Was like okay. Even the jerk chicken that they had was, to me, it was like a 2 out of 10. Some people said it had kick, but I love
2 out of
spicy
10
food. Yeah.
Like a party full of brown guys? That seems to be...
That's what was throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they would have requested.
I thought it was going to be crazy hot, but it absolutely wasn't. You know what else I found out? The guy whose party it was, you know Nary's, our good friend's older brother, his oldest son, his middle son did the Packy Chip Challenge.
Oh, yeah? What, at the party?
No, he did it a while back. It somehow came up, and so he mentioned he did the Packy Chip Challenge, and apparently, like, it was, like, really not good for him. Like,
no, it's
like
not good
way
for
worse
anybody.
than it was for us.
It's not good for anybody.
And yeah, so I don't know how it came up. But hold on to your butts, hold on to your shorts. The market's headed right back in the lows. Although IBIT, we just got a dip in IBIT, and it's right back trending toward the highs. So the trend is unbent right now. Bitcoin is strong. Everything else is weak. Even gold is weak. Everything else is weak. Gold is pulling back as well. So if you're not in something Bitcoin related, then you need to be short. That's probably the easy way to put it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense right there. S&P futures are at the lows, S&P, but look what's happening to the NASDAQ. Let's go.
Another one.
Props it up right there. We got Palantir again, another one. And I mean, it's now 40 cents in the money. So we taking shots, man, and shots fired right now directly at Palantir. No, I never fire shots at Palantir, actually. Not with their system there.
The AI is going to...
Their AI would hunt me down.
That's literally the last...
That's literally the last company, yeah. But we are taking shots, though, at the stock, and we're taking it to the long side. So don't fire those cannons at me, Alex. But there it goes, a nice move to the high side right there. If we can get something out at 92.74, that would be $1, and we'll take that anyways. Has nothing to do with the dollar club. We just do that for fun. I'm going to go 92.70, which is the 200... I'll go 65. It is the 200 period moving average, so I like that. I like that for an opportunity to get more out. And again, like we talked about trying to catch this. So there it is, man. We sticking to our guns, and there it is, man. Yeah, thank you, Ozan. You're right, man. We could talk about Drake. We could talk about Popstar, but you're right. I'm not a doctor right now. We are a trade star. And I don't think that's, thank you for the compliment. And, you know, it just matters that some guys, and it's just been recently, man. We've been having, it's been a while, but we've been doing really well. So thank you for the compliments, and thank you for following along with some of the trades, because there it is right now. Now it's 70 cents in the money. All right. There we go. I offered there, right? I just offered 58s. So we'll get out right there as, look, I try my best to entertain, to put on a good show, and to hopefully show some positive trades and then talk about them afterwards. If they work out, then yeah, it's great. And yeah, it maybe look like, oh, you know, we're talking about these winning trades. But I mean, if you want me to talk about a losing trade, how could I talk about Mara? Because that's not a losing trade. The only thing is I'm the loser for not reloading that right there. But okay, we still put that in. Nvidia. I'm not a doctor, you know. There it goes, nice move to the downside, 99 and change, all the way down to 96.50. We'll take that as we are, oh, wow. It is overtime right now, and if Sharif was here, he'd be saying, you know, whenever he goes over, we owe him time.
They owe us.
I noticed that about that guy. But there it is right now. It is Palantir, up 70 cents. I'm going to hit the gym. Neil's going to chill out probably for a couple minutes and work on some of his trades. And then we get ready for the after show. We always work on the recap show. That's coming tonight as well with Mr. Nos. So that should be exciting.
Yeah, what's the defense stocks are doing today?
Yeah, we'll see what his sort of predictions were. He had said the best setup that he had seen in a long time was Bitcoin 109,000, went down to 75. Let's see if we can get back up there to 110,000 coming very, very soon.
Buy more Bitcoin.
Buy more Bitcoin at all times.
Yeah, it's strong today. But let's go. Look, obviously, we'll be back at 2 o'clock. It's been a wild one, but you got the treat. It's Obi. It's Joey options. Go get them.
Go.
Go, East.
Get the heck out of here, my guy.
Hey, yo, what's going on, all traders?